So hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Prodigy Naruto graduates early. Part 1. If you guys enjoy this, what if? And you want to see part 2. Comment down below. And let me know before I start. Please do support for more awesome content. And leave a like and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And also share this video with your friends. And check out the description. And check out my playlist. So let's start the video. Chapter 1. The legend begins. The village hidden in the leaves has been the birthplace for many legendary ninja throughout the decades. There's the third Hokage Hiruzen Sarutobi, otherwise known as the God of Shinobi, and the Professor. He was trained by the first two Hokages. He became an S-rank shinobi by the time he was 14 and took the mantle of Hokage when he was 16. Then there was the legendary three ninja, otherwise known as the Sannin, Orochimaru, Jiraiya and Tsunade, all having legendary skills and summons. After surviving a fight with Hanzo of the Salamanders, they became hailed as legends and S-rank ninja. Tsukumo Hadouker, the White Fang of the Leaf, a genius shinobi said to have been stronger than the Sannin and rumored to have been a candidate for becoming the fourth Hokage. Minato Namikaze is a once-in-a-generation genius, student to Jiraiya of the Sannin and the legendary fourth Hokage. The legendary Yellow Flash. However, walking up to the Ninja Academy was a small blonde orphan named Naruto Uzumaki. He has a dream to become not only the Hokage, but the strongest Hokage of them all. Looking up from his shirt that he was fiddling with, Naruto looked over the academy building. Okay, calm down. Jiji helped me, and he said that the other kids at the academy would be nicer. Thought Naruto, flashing his famous grin and walking through the families wishing their kids good luck on their first day. Naruto made it a point to ignore the pang of hurt at the fact nobody was here for him and went to his classroom, room 104. Inside the classroom. Inside, Naruto found that he was the third person to arrive. Looking over towards the back, he saw a boy with a big green jacket and sunglasses. He must be shy or something to hide in a jacket like that, Naruto thought. By the window, he looked over to the other occupant, a raven-haired boy in a navy blue shirt and tan shorts with a fan symbol on his back. So there is an Uchiha in my class, interesting. Having heard from the old man about the various clans in the village, he knew that the Uchiha were typically the best ninjas in the academy, along with the Hyugas. Taking a seat in the middle of the classroom, he waited for everyone else to arrive. Meanwhile, he was going through his backpack to make sure he had all of his books and utensils. He'd started to rush and not wanting to be late for the first day. Sitting in the same booth as him to his right was a dark-haired boy with a ponytail that oddly resembled a pineapple, looking like he just woke up for the first time in his life. Next to him and further down in the rightmost spot was a chubby kid with swirls on his cheeks, happily munching on what he guessed was barbecue chips, if the smell was anything to go by. Looking up from his row mates, he saw a man in standard Chunin clothing with a horizontal scar along his nose. Iruka cleared his throat to get everyone's attention. Welcome to your first day at the academy. My name is Iruka Yamino, and I will be your sensei until you graduate. Congratulations on passing the entrance exam and taking the first steps in becoming a Leaf Shinobi. Note, however, that it only gets harder from here. The day will be an introduction day with several tests. Some of the students started to groan. Iruka shot them all a glare. As I was saying, several tests to see where everyone's at. After explaining the daily schedule for normal academy days and the tests they will be doing today, Iruka starts passing around the written tests to everyone. Iruka looks to see if everyone has a test and nods to himself. Okay, you will have 1 hour to complete this to the best of your knowledge. The test goes over information that was in the textbook you were given 2 weeks ago after the entrance exam. Begin. Naruto picked up his pencil and started on his test. After looking over the questions, he smiled to himself. It seems as though all that reading paid off. After Iruka called for everyone to hand in their test, Naruto nodded his head, happy with his answers. Iruka organized a stack of papers before he noticed that it's time for lunch. Now you all are dismissed for lunch. You have 1 hour to be back here, don't be late. Naruto followed the other students outside to the lunch area, looking around for a spot to eat. He decided to sit under a tree that didn't have anyone nearby. He opened his bag that had his lunch inside and frowned. He was terrible at cooking, so he had to settle for pre-made food. So chips and water was going to be his lunch until he found out how to make ramen portable. The two people Naruto sat next to in the classroom walked up to him as he opened his bag. Hi, my name and Choji is Shikamaru. Can we sit with you? A smiling Choji asks while gesturing to the bored-looking Shikamaru next to him. Hello, I'm Naruto, you can sit if you want. Naruto said while internally happy that they wanted to eat with him. So what did you two think about the test? Asked Naruto. He was curious if he was the only one to read over the textbook before class. I thought it was too troublesome, so I just finished as fast as I could and took a nap. Shikamaru said lazily. This caused Naruto to raise an eyebrow. I have seen old people with more pep in them than this guy. Naruto looks over to a chuckling Choji expectantly. Well, it was okay. I don't think I failed, Choji said shyly. Lunch turned into a comfortable silence as the three boys ate. Okay everyone, lunch is over. The shout came from Iruka. Going back to his seat he looks at his sensei expectantly for whatever is next. Now, we will spend the rest of the day in the training ground to finish the rest of the tests. Iruka said before leading the students to the academy training ground. Academy training ground. The academy training ground wasn't anything too special, it had a variety of targets, a running track and an obstacle course for the older students to do. Okay everyone, we will start off with shuriken and kunai throwing, you will be graded and ranked, so take this seriously. Instructed Iruka, eyeing some of the students that didn't look all that interested. Naruto watched everyone go up and take their test. Naruto noticed that so far nobody got higher than 1 or 2 hits, and those were the clan children. Uchiha Sasuke. Called Iruka, the raven-haired boy from earlier now identified as Sasuke, walked up and took his stance before he started throwing his shuriken. He surprised everyone getting 4/10 on shuriken and kunai, causing some of the girls to blush at his coolness when he just turned around and walked off without saying a word. Uzumaki Naruto. Called Iruka, startling him out of his thoughts. He walks up to the post and picks up some shuriken. Taking a breath and letting them fly like he has been practicing. Flashback. Sitting in the Hokage's office was Naruto, he looked up at the third Hokage. Hey old man, since I'm going to be starting the academy this year, should I be doing something to prepare or should I just show up and hope for the best? Naruto didn't know how much someone should prepare for the academy. The old man told him that most clans start their training as soon as they are capable. The third looked up from his paperwork, well I think that you should definitely prepare since most can get help from somebody else. Hiruzen looked at the picture of the fourth Hokage, it was tragic that this boy was all alone and not being trained or looked after by his parents. Instead he was ignored for something that he had no choice over. Hiruzen took out a piece of paper and started writing on it. There are a few things you should have, such as signaling an Anbu in the room to take the paper. When you get home there will be some books that will really help you, not only in the academy, but as a shinobi in general. Hiruzen said to a small smiling blonde. Naruto, happy with the response, got up eager to get home to practice, shouting a thanks old man before running out. Smiling in the small ball of sunshine, the third looked at the picture of his late successor again and sighed. It should be you guiding him, not books, it should be you taking him to the academy and cheering him on or wishing him good luck. I wish I could have switched places with you Minato. The third gains a determined look in his eye. But since you aren't here I may not be able to personally do anything for him right now, but I will give him all the assistance I can, and those books will be a perfect way to start. Hell, if he is like you, this may count as training my new successor. Thought Hiruzen. Then flashback. Throwing the shuriken like he's been practicing, Naruto had a huge grin having hit 6/10 shuriken. Looking over at Iruka-sensei, he sees a surprised look as Iruka wrote on his clipboard. Naruto grabs the kunai and hits 6/10 again, happy at having the best score. He turned to look at the rest of the class. The guys were kinda put off at a kid being so much better than them, and the girls were all looking at him with awe, beating Sasuke who is an Uchiha, it's just unbelievable. He must be a prodigy. I know, beating an Uchiha on the first day. Plus he is kinda cute with the whiskers. Naruto blushed at the last one. He walked over to Shikamaru who was eyeing him differently than before and a frowning Sasuke who looked like someone just stole his candy. What did you think of that, Shikamaru? Not too bad, huh? Shikamaru just looked at him for another second before turning away, deeming the whole situation troublesome. Sasuke steps forward, not to be shown up by some nobody, don't get used to it. I will beat you in Taijutsu for sure. Challenged Sasuke, he's going to be number 1 like his older brother before him. Naruto, grinning like crazy, looked at Sasuke. I don't think so, I have been training for the past few months and I'm gonna be the best. Said Naruto confidently. Sasuke just brushed it off and waited for the Taijutsu spars to start, knowing with their last names they would be paired. He would show nobody then. After what Iruka thought was above average accuracy results for first day students, he flipped the page on his clipboard. Now we will start on the paired sparring. When I call your names, come up and get into your stance, all styles are permitted, family or otherwise. Watching the spars, or in his 2 new friends' case, mutual forfeiting. Naruto noticed one thing, that he could beat any of them. The book the old man gave him told him he should exercise daily and had katas for a taijutsu form he has been working on. Naruto, being smaller, knew he would have to be smarter, so he worked on the accuracy of his punches rather than brute force, although he liked to think he was pretty strong for his size. Uchiha Sasuke, Uzumaki Naruto, you two are up. Iruka called out, he would never admit to favoring any student over another. But he was excited to see this match. Walking up to the ring, Naruto got into the loose stance for the style he's been practicing. Sasuke got into his stance, which Naruto noticed was a family style, and being from a prodigious clan like the Uchiha, it was most likely good. After hearing Iruka shout begin, Naruto rushes in at Sasuke. Sasuke was taken off guard at how fast the blonde was, he barely avoided the punch to his face and went for a leg sweep. Naruto vaulted over Sasuke and kicked him in the back, making him tumble forward. Naruto uses the opportunity to rush Sasuke. Sasuke, who was regaining his balance from being kicked, rolled back to get to his feet and charged at Naruto. Both engaged in an impressive bout of taijutsu. Naruto saw an opening and sunk his fist into Sasuke's stomach, making him double over. Naruto follows up with a kick, knocking Sasuke back and onto his back, then rushes over and points a kunai in Sasuke's face. "Enough. Winner Naruto," called out an impressed Iruka. Walking back over to the class and Iruka-sensei, Naruto notices the girls and the guys were surprised that someone could beat Sasuke. The Uchiha are usually the best in taijutsu, and Naruto took him down on the first day of class. Whispers were heard, "Man, shuriken jutsu and now taijutsu, this kid has to be some kind of prodigy, no way he isn't." One civilian boy said to another, both nodding, "Wow, I mean wow, he beat Sasuke-kun so easily, what a guy." A blonde-haired girl in purple said to a wide pink-haired girl who was just nodding. "Okay everyone, that is all for today, you can head home, the test results will be given back tomorrow," said Iruka, looking at Naruto a little longer than the others. Hokage's office. Iruka stood in front of the third Hokage going through his report. To be expected from a class with most of the clan heirs, they did better than average. However, one Naruto Uzumaki stood out from the rest. He scored 6/10 on both shuriken and kunai and beat Sasuke Uchiha in taijutsu. Also, his test score on the written exam this morning was quite surprising in that he knew most of the material. The only person that came close was a civilian girl by the name of Sakura Haruno. "He has the makings of a genius, we should keep an eye on him, possibly even putting him in a higher grade so as to give him more of a challenge," reported Iruka. The third nodded to himself. "Where would you put his performance compared to the other years?" The third was curious about the little blonde's talent and whether or not he should be moved up yet. "I would say years 2 or 3 possibly, we won't know for sure until we cover more material," answered Iruka. Hiruzen nodded, "Okay, dismissed." With a quick "Hokage-sama," Iruka left. Taking out his crystal ball and watching a certain blonde boy read a book while eating dinner and sighed, "If he continues like this, people will put 2 and 2 together. He is pretty much a clone of his father, and if word spreads of a spiky blonde-haired blue-eyed genius, people will find out who he is." Which is something that would be a big headache should that spread to some other countries, Iowa and Kumo in particular. "I should classify his info and his parents' info on a much higher level to be safe, a good thing not too many people know anyway." The third took out his pipe and puffed on his glorious tobacco before getting back to work. Uchiha head family house. "So Sasuke-kun, how was your first day?" His mother asked him from across the table. She didn't get a chance to ask him earlier since he went straight to the training ground after he got home. "I did okay, better than almost everyone in class, but there was this boy who was better than everyone else at everything, shuriken jutsu, taijutsu and most likely the written test as well," responded Sasuke. He was ashamed that he wasn't on top like his brother had been when he was in the academy. "Who is this boy that is number 1? His father asked, which could be interpreted as ordered. "His name is Naruto Uzumaki. He got 6/10 in shuriken and kunai, and his taijutsu was faster than mine." Sasuke mumbles the last part, although they all heard it. His mother sent him a sympathetic look while also thinking about Kushina and her orphan son sadly. Hearing a grunt, Sasuke looked at his father, who looked like he was about to speak until his brother interrupted. "Well Sasuke-kun, you need to start training harder, it looks like you found someone who would be a good rival," said Itachi, nodding as Sasuke looked at his brother. "Can you help me train Nai-san?" Sasuke pleads. Itachi shook his head. "Sorry Sasuke-kun, I'm very busy nowadays with Anbu so I won't have time." Sasuke looked down sadly but continued to eat, thinking about Naruto and how he was going to double his training to catch up and beat him. Naruto's apartment. Naruto was going over today, he was surprised at how easy everything was. He has been training for the better part of 4 months in taijutsu but he was expecting the clan heirs to be as good or better since they had people training them. Naruto let sleep take over him, he was excited to continue his career at the academy. Chapter 2. Truths and Team. 3 years later, Naruto age 9. Training ground 3. Naruto went through hand seals, after ending in the snake seal he called out, "Earth release." Earth-style wall. A huge wall of solid earth shot up from the ground in front of him, proud of his now 5th master jutsu. Naruto started reminiscing about his time in the academy so far. In the 3 years he's been attending the academy, Naruto has proven that he is in fact a genius. He's at the top of the class in taijutsu, ninjutsu and jinjutsu by a huge margin, so much in fact that he was able to advance to the final year. The third had been so proud he gave Naruto a scroll of 5 different ninjutsu. The third explained to Naruto that when he started his genin career under the second Hokage, he was given these very to learn. Naruto's shuriken jutsu has gotten to a level that stationary targets weren't even difficult anymore. He's starting to practice wire techniques, something that only the most skilled didn't learn. In Taijutsu, Naruto hasn't learned any new styles, he still relies on the basic academy form and the unnamed style from the book he was given from the third. Naruto has made alterations to both styles to fit his small, albeit average for his age, body. He changed the style to focus heavily on speed and counter-attacks. In Jutsu Naruto can't say he is the top of his class, but he doesn't know anything other than the henge. Naruto was disappointed to find that in the academy library, only Genjutsu theory was covered. He would have to wait until he was a genin to make any headway in the illusion department. In ninjutsu, Naruto's most pleased with his progress. After receiving the scroll from the old man he added 5 new, which he has just mastered the last one. The others include the water release. Jet stream, this has many forms, a wide cone of water to a concentrated stream, the more chakra the further the range. High release. Flame bullet, this was a smaller version of the Uchiha's famous fireball. Wind release. Wind bullets, another chakra dependent in that the more chakra fed into the technique, the more bullets produced and the stronger they would be. Lastly is his favorite so far, lightning release. Lightning stream, the user would extend 2 fingers after condensing lightning chakra and release it all at once in a stream. It was mostly stunning, but with enough chakra and control, it could pierce or even kill. Naruto was surprised that he was given such high-level material, especially for an academy student. The third responded that if they were in times of war, Naruto would have graduated already and could possibly be a Naruto accepted the explanation, not like he was upset at receiving the news. Hokage's office. The third Hokage was watching Naruto train, taking a puff from his pipe and thinking of his favorite blonde. He is something else, I knew he would master all of those jutsu, but to get them so fast. Now with his reputation in the academy as a genius most of the jonins want to train him. Though, I'm giving him to Kakashi, who will kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Naruto gets a jack of all trades sensei and can hopefully get Kakashi out of his funk. Yes, they will be good for each other. Thought the third silently. Hiruzen heard a knock on his door, calling out for the person to enter. He waited to see who it was. In walks Kakashi Haddock, a tall man with gravity-defying silver hair. He wears the standard Jonin uniform, but has a mask covering from the bridge of his nose down, and his headband is slanted over his left eye. He's also focusing on the orange book in his hands. "You sent for me, Hokage-sama?" asked Kakashi, slouching in front of the Hokage's desk. "Yes, I want to inform you that you will be taking a team this year," said Hiruzen before giving a file to Kakashi. "Naruto-kun is graduating in 3 days, Kakashi. I know you want to train him, right?" asked Hiruzen. It honestly wasn't a question, Kakashi was going to be the sensei whether he wanted to or not. Hiruzen just liked to word things like that. Kakashi continued to read the file before responding. "He is impressive, top of his class. I guess the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Ever since Itachi there hasn't been an early graduate," said Kakashi. "Yes, he was the last one, the fact was that with the way he turned out, I wanted more children to enjoy their time as children. Naruto however, is a truly exceptional ninja, and he also doesn't have a clan pressuring him constantly." Hiruzen answered. "Well, this could be fun, if that is all, Hokage-sama?" Kakashi asked. The third nodded, waving his hand to dismiss the jonin. 3 days later. Classroom 213. Naruto waited for the instructor to call his name for the final part of the graduation exam. He was very excited. Finally, today is the day. I can't wait to start doing missions. I just hope that I don't get any of these fangirls on my team, that would be embarrassing. After moving up to the final year, Naruto found that a lot of the girls, if not most of them, started to have an infatuation for the blonde genius. They call him adorable or ask to pet his checks, they wanted to know if he purred when they pet the whiskers. Naruto could never hide the blush when he was asked that. "Uzumaki, you're up," called the instructor from the other room. Walking into the room Naruto was surprised to see Iruka there. "Hey Iruka-sensei. I didn't know you would be here." Naruto exclaimed, he always liked his first sensei. "Yes, good to see you in Naruto, your sensei is out sick and needs me to fill in today and tomorrow," said Iruka. He liked the enthusiastic blonde, even with his genius he never looked down on anyone in his class. "Okay Naruto, I need you to perform the substitution, henge and clone techniques in order to graduate," Iruka ordered. Focusing on the chair to his right Naruto performed a flawless substitution with no hand signs. Placing his hands in the tiger seal he became a perfect Iruka. Walking back to the center he goes through 3 hand seals and creates 3 clones, then looks up at Iruka. "Excellent Naruto, you pass, come and get your headband, we have blue and black," said Iruka. Naruto smiles as he takes a blue one and ties it around his forehead. Thanks Iruka-sensei. Cheered Naruto before going back to his classroom and walking up to his seat. Not surprising that it took you less than 5 minutes, Naruto. A calm voice in the seat next to him said. Yeah, I hope we get put on the same team together, Toshiro. Responding to Naruto, he looked over at his best friend, Toshiro. He was wearing a gray long-sleeve shirt, blue shorts and blue shinobi sandals. Me too, you are going to be the rookie of the year, but we have worked well together all year, so they won't spit us up, hopefully. It would be hilarious if we get one of your fangirls too though. Laughed Toshiro. Naruto started grumbling about his embarrassing fangirls. He turned away from his friend to wait for Iruka to come back in. Okay everyone, tomorrow you will need to come back here at 9 o'clock to receive your team. Class dismissed. Announced Iruka. Naruto and Toshiro were walking out of the academy when somebody bumped into Naruto, turning around to see who it was. Naruto rolled his eyes. Great, it's this guy again, mentally sighed Naruto. It was a boy in a class 2 years below him. He was in a white shirt and black pants, he had shiny black hair and huge eyebrows. Oh. I apologize to Naruto-kun. I did not see you there. I see you have already graduated, well no worries for I shall graduate in 2 years and show you that my hard work can surpass even your genius. Declared the boy loudly. Yes Lee, I hope you do, in fact I will be waiting for you to try when you graduate. Now if you will excuse us we are going to go and get some ramen. Naruto said, ending the conversation and before the inevitable challenge. Ever since the instructors started calling Naruto a genius, Lee was all over him trying to surpass him. The first 5 challenges were fine, but the following 20, Naruto was starting to get annoyed. Walking away before Lee can start yelling again, Naruto and Toshiro continue down the road to Ichiraku's. I have to say if that were me back there, I would have just shut him down for good. He's starting to really annoy me. I can't imagine how you feel. Toshiro said amused. Well he's just enthusiastic, plus I hope he can be a good challenge, and it's not like he gets angry about getting beat, just more determined after losing and I admire that. Informed Naruto before entering the ramen stand. Ichiraku Ramen, Naruto's favorite place in the world, the best ramen he's ever tasted and the nicest people he's ever met. Not only is the food from the gods above, but old man Tucci has always been nice to him ever since he was small, and his daughter Ayam was like the big sister Naruto has always wanted. Ah, Naruto and Toshiro, nice to see you boys. Looking good with those headbands, congratulations on passing. Tucci said happily. Thanks old man. I'll have some miso ramen with extra pork. Cheered Naruto's mouth, already drooling. I'll have chicken ramen Tucci-san, thank you. Toshiro said calmly, he's not as enthusiastic about ramen as his friend. Sure thing boys, it'll be right up. Tucci called as he entered the kitchen. So, what do you want to do after we eat? Asked Toshiro. He didn't have any plans, so it was either hang out with Naruto or go home. I'm going to go to the weapon shop and maybe the shinobi library. I have been thinking about a weapon to use, and now that we're genin, we can get into the shinobi library. I want to see what I can learn. Said Naruto. Not too bad of an idea. The weapon shop, not the library I mean. I have wanted to get a katana for some time now, but since we were only in the academy I decided to wait. Toshiro always saw himself as a swordsman, but at the academy weapons weren't allowed, so he didn't bother. Here you go boys, enjoy. A cheerful thanks old man thanks Tucci-san was his response respectively before the new genin dug in. Shinobi weapon shop. Welcome to Higurashi Weapons, my name is Taiji Higurashi, have a look around, any questions feel free to come up and ask me. Taiji said joyfully, happy that he has 2 new customers and hopefully a good profit. Looking around, Naruto saw Toshiro walk over to the sword section. He knew Toshiro wanted to get into Kenjutsu, so that wasn't unexpected. Naruto however walked around hoping to spot something that would fit him. He's very fast and precise, and with chakra, he was stronger than Toshiro, who was quite strong himself. Seeing the wide variety of weapons got Naruto thinking of what kind of ninja he wants to be. There are specialists who focus on one branch and are passable in the others, or rarely, there are shinobi like the 3rd Hokage, who are good at everything. Naruto admires the 3rd the most, not only is he the only person Naruto sees as family in the village, but he has given Naruto so much support and help with the books, scrolls that Naruto was forever thankful. Thinking about it, Naruto decides that he wants to follow in his footsteps. The old man is a master in all 3 main disciplines. He has mastery of all 5 basic elements and is a powerful Bijutsu user in conjunction with his monkey summons. I want to do that. If I'm going to become the best Hokage this village has ever seen, I need to be the best at everything. I already have 1 jutsu for each element. My taijutsu is good even though I don't have a real style, so I need Jinjutsu plus a weapon to master. Thought Naruto. Going over to Toshiro, who was examining a silver katana with a teal handle, find something you like already? Inquired Naruto. Well, this one feels right in my hands, it gives me good reach and I can channel chakra through it when I learn to do that. Said Toshiro. He looks at an empty-handed Naruto. See, nothing that you like so far. I was trying to find something I can use, I rely on speed and precision and didn't know what to pick, said Naruto. Humming, Toshiro looks around at all the weapons. Since you are trying to be so much like Hokage-sama and with your skills, why not completely follow in his footsteps and get a bow staff? Toshiro asked. He didn't know how a staff would work for Naruto, but he's sure Naruto will figure it out. Looking toward the bow staff on the wall, Naruto seriously thinks about the option. I may not have the monkey summons like the third, but it gives good reach, and with chakra I'm pretty strong, maybe I can ask old man Hokage for some help. Contemplated Naruto. Yeah, that's a good idea, Toshiro. I'm kind of a mid-close range fighter with my ninjutsu, it could be perfect, plus few people are Bujutsu users, and I like being different. Naruto said before walking to the staff section. Nodding at Naruto, he follows him, katana in hand. Seeing a 5 feet blue with black edges, Naruto picks it up. Man, these things are heavy, once I get good with this and accustomed to the weight it will seriously hurt. Chuckled Naruto with an evil look in his eye. Might not have been a good idea to suggest to the bow staff, since I'm going to be the unfortunate bastard that gets his ass kicked by him every day. Thought a sweat dripping Toshiro, who was watching Naruto, who was hugging the staff and laughing maniacally. Both boys walk up to the counter to pay. I'll take care of both of them, Taiji-san, came a voice from behind the boys. Looking up from the weapons, the new genin saw that it was the Hokage standing there with a smile. Hi Hokage-sama, your total is 10,000 ryo. Said Taiji, the Hokage who without skipping a beat, paid for the staff and katana. The boys both bow in appreciation. Thank you Hokage-sama. Both said simultaneously. Walking out of the shop with the Hokage, Toshiro thanks the old man again, who waves it off, telling him not to mention it. Well Naruto-kun, looks like you picked a bow staff to use as your weapon. In my own humble opinion that is the best weapon around. Said a smiling third Hokage. Yeah, old man, I have always intended to use a weapon, not just jutsu, and decided on the staff. I may not have the monkey summons like you, but I think I will do well with this. Responded a grinning Naruto, gesturing to his new staff. Well, just so you know, Bujutsu has been a part of my clan for generations, although in recent years the Sarutobi clan isn't as big as it once was. My son doesn't use a staff or my summons, and my grandson is too young to really decide what kind of ninja he wants to be. Hiruzen said, not showing the pain from the fact that his son wanted to distance himself from Hiruzen as much as possible. So if you want to learn my Bujutsu style, I would be happy to give you the lower level scrolls to start you out on. That way they don't die with me. Said Hiruzen. Really, you mean it, old man? Naruto is shocked, seeing the third naughty rushes over and pulls the old man in a huge hug, saying thank you over and over again. Hiruzen chuckles at the overjoyed blonde before returning the hug. There is something we need to discuss in my office. I can also give you the scrolls there, hold on. The third said before initiating the body flicker technique. Hokage's office. Sitting down in his chair, he ushered Naruto to sit down in front of him. There are some things I think you are now old enough to know, now that you are a genin, and I know you won't just shout it from the rooftops. Hiruzen said in a serious voice. Naruto gulped, hearing the tone the Hokage was using. You know what happened during the Kyuubi attack almost 10 years ago? Hiruzen asks, seeing Naruto nod, he continues. Well, that wasn't what really happened, the Kyuubi can't be killed indefinitely, after 4 or so years it would reform. Seeing no other option, our fourth Hokage, Minato Namikaze, decided that it would be better to seal it away into a newborn child. Hiruzen said sadly, he looked pointedly at the blonde in front of him. Naruto's eyes widen, easily connecting the dots before he starts to freak out. Are you serious? What am I going to do? Can it get out? Am I safe? Before Naruto can blabber on or pass off from hyperventilating, the third interrupts. Now listen, you are fine, you are not endangered, and the seal is very strong. Minato was a genius in Fuinjutsu, and my student Jiraiya assured me afterwards that the fox can't get out, influence or harm you. The third said resolutely, making sure the young boy understood he was safe from the fox. Well then, why would he pick me? I don't understand, was I just an unfortunate sacrifice? Naruto whispered to himself sadly, now knowing why most would ignore him and some even refused to sell to him. Or that he was never looked at when people would come to the orphanage to adopt someone. Naruto. You aren't just some sacrifice, he wanted you to be seen as a hero. The Hokage said softly, heart almost breaking at the ever-happy Naruto looking so sad. He should know. No, he deserves to know, every child deserves to know. There isn't much of their stuff I can give him, and most of it is with the Toads or Jiraiya, but I can at least give him a picture for some sense of closure. Thought the Hokage before clearing his throat and sending the Anbu hiding in his office away. Naruto, that isn't all I want to tell you. Hiruzen said, looking up at the old man. Naruto braced for even worse news. What old man? Naruto asks with trepidation. I wouldn't tell you that and expect you to just accept it and leave. No, I want to show you a picture. Hiruzen said. He took out a picture that has some years of age to it. A red-headed woman that was pregnant in a green dress and what looks like a smiling fourth Hokage wrapping his hand around her waist. Do you know who these two people are, Naruto-kun? Hiruzen asks. Naruto wasn't called a genius for nothing, he always questioned why he and the fourth looked so similar, but seeing this picture confirmed it all, choking back a sob, not trusting his voice. Naruto just nods. I think you've figured it out, this is Minato Namikaze, the fourth Hokage who you know a lot about, but the other is someone you probably don't know. Her name is Kushina Uzumaki, said Hiruzen. Can you tell me about her? Jiji, said a quiet and hopeful Naruto. The old Hokage's eyes softened at the blonde, hearing Naruto call him that reminded him just how small and lonely he really is under the ever-joyful attitude. Sure, Naruto-kun, she was a very fierce and powerful kunoichi. Extremely loyal to her friends and not to mention a bit of a tomboy. Always getting into fights with her bullies and usually winning. She had very special chakra that allowed her to form solid chains to attack and bind her opponents, and she fell in love with you the second she found out you were coming. The third finished the last part softly. Naruto was overjoyed at having such an amazing mother and reciprocated the love his mother felt for him just as much after hearing that she loved him. There was always a voice in the back of his head saying that he was abandoned and unloved, but being told that wasn't the case he felt he could jump over the moon. That's an amazing old man. Thank you for telling me, really, you don't know how much this means to me. Naruto said happily. The third is very happy to see the small but real smile on Naruto's face instead of the over-exaggerated grin he normally wears. Not a problem, I trust I don't have to tell you that this is on a need-to-know basis until you're Chunin eyeing Naruto seriously, making sure the point gets across, before continuing. Those two didn't make a lot of friends in Iwa and Kumo during the war, so if they get word that those two have a living heir, it would mean trouble for you, and we don't want that. Hiruzen said seriously. Naruto nodded at the old man. Don't worry, I won't go blabbering it to the world, I can keep it a secret. Who knows about my secrets, either or both? Questioned Naruto, he wants to know how quiet he is going to have to be. Well, everyone except for your generation and below knows about the Kyuubi, but I passed a decree making it illegal for anyone to talk about it or tell anyone who doesn't know. Who your parents are, however, is different, only your parents' friends would know and they can keep their mouths shut. You can tell anyone you deem fit about the Kyuubi, but hold off on spreading word about your parents to your friends for a while. At least until you get stronger and can handle the inevitable bounty that will be placed on your head, said the third. Now, weren't there some scrolls I was going to give you? Hiruzen asked rhetorically, he laughed at the look of realization that spread across Naruto's face. Walking over to a bookshelf, Hiruzen looks for a few minutes before giving an aha and tossing it over to Naruto. That is the basic stances and forms to my Bijutsu style. I hope you train hard, maybe we can spar when you are older. Challenged the Hokage, chuckling at the fire burning in Naruto's eyes. Hell yeah, we will. Then I'll beat you and become the fifth Hokage, no doubt about it, said a now fiercely determined Naruto before running over and giving him a big hug. Thanks for everything, Jiji, I really appreciate it. Naruto said. Hiruzen returned the hug, giving a warm reply, it was my pleasure, Naruto-kun. Well, I'm going to head home. It's been a long day and I get team placements tomorrow, said Naruto, picking up his new bow staff before walking out. Naruto's apartment. I really need to learn that teleportation the old man used. I could have been home 15 minutes ago. I'll make sure to ask my sensei tomorrow, thought Naruto. Eating up some ramen, he starts going over the scroll the old man gave him. So it relies on agility to get into position, then heavy blows to arms, legs, head or jabbing motions to the stomach. Not too bad, I'll go over some stances and katas in the morning before class. Classroom 213. Heading into class first, Naruto went to his seat and waited for everyone to get into class. 10 minutes later, Iruka walked in. After getting everyone to be quiet, Iruka cleared his throat. Okay everyone, congratulations on passing the Genin exam and taking the first steps in your shinobi careers. However, you are only Genin lowest on the food chain, you will have to work hard to climb the ranks and earn any respect at all. I'm not going to sugarcoat this and say all of you will live to reach your goals, but I want you all to do your best and represent the village proudly. Now, I will call out your teams. Iruka looks at his clipboard before beginning. Team 1. Naruto stopped listening, instead listening to Toshiro talk about his kenjutsu style he picked up from the library after leaving the weapon shop yesterday. Team 7 will be Naruto Uzumaki. Both stopped to pay attention to find out his teammates. Naruto crossed his fingers, hoping that none of his fangirls currently holding their breath would be on his team. Toshiro, 2 whoops and a high five was heard. Nobody was really surprised, they are best friends, it's only natural they would be on the same team. And Mikiyazuki, your sensei is Kakashi Haddock. Finished Iruka. Naruto and Toshiro were still happy that they were on the same team. Mika was glad that she has a team with 2 people who took this seriously. While the fangirls were all groaning, upset that the one girl not interested in Naruto was on his team. 2 hours later Naruto was confused, he'd heard of Kakashi Hadokaka Kakashi of the Sharingan, but was confused that such a respectable jonin would be 2 hours late. The door slides open and Kakashi sticks his head inside, Team 7. You guys look like a nice bunch, to the roof my cute and hopeful genin. Said an eye-smiling Kakashi. Before disappearing in a poof. Man, I really want to learn jutsu. All 3 genin thought simultaneously before rushing out. Academy roof. Looking over his cute little genin Kakashi starts to eye them, these 3 are going to be a good team, Naruto can be close, mid or even long range. Toshiro is up close with his katana and Mika has that tanto I'm sure Yugao has taught her to use. Okay you 3, I want you to introduce yourselves, likes, dislikes, hobbies, dreams and something you want to start training or get better at. Said Kakashi looking up at the 3 expectantly from his orange book. Why don't you go first sensei? Mika said, seeing as how they didn't know their sensei, he should go first. Kakashi sighed, well I'm Kakashi Haddock. Dislikes. Dreams really, I'm so improving for the most part is out in hobbies. Not for young ears. Lazed out Kakashi. All 3 genin sweat dropped, so he told us his name. Now, your first girl Kakashi said, gesturing to the purple-haired girl to start. My name is Mikiyazuki. I like my big sister and Dango. I dislike fangirls, hobbies are training and cooking, dreams. I want to surpass my sister and become a respectable kunoichi, and I want to start training in ninjutsu to supplement my kinjutsu. Finished Mika, she looked at Toshiro to her left expectantly. My name is Toshiro, my likes are training with Naruto and swimming, dislikes are loud people or those from clans who look down on orphans, hobbies are training and reading, dreams are to enter the Anbu and become a captain, and I want to start to training kinjutsu with my new katana and learn my affinity. Stated Toshiro calmly. Naruto continued, name's Naruto Uzumaki, likes are kicking Toshiro's ass, dodging a swing at his head and continuing without missing a beat, dislikes are people who judge others without getting to know them, and people who call me short, hobbies are learning new, dreams are to become a powerful ninja, and the best Hokage this village has ever seen. Something I want to train is Bijutsu with my new staff and start learning Jinjutsu. Finished Naruto. Okay tomorrow you 3 are going to be given a survival exercise, if you pass you will become an official genin, fail, and you go back to the academy. This test has a 66% failure rate, so don't get your hopes up. Kakashi said, making the 3 start to sweat. Meet me at training ground 7 tomorrow at 7. Kakashi starts to walk off before he stops and turns to them. Oh, you might want to skip breakfast otherwise you will puke, bye. Kakashi said before using the body flicker technique to leave. All 3 just look at the spot he was before he left, Naruto just sighed. Well guys, tomorrow is a big day see you there. Oh I'm still going to eat, I suggest you do the same, if he makes me puke I'll just puke on him, see you tomorrow. Naruto said before jumping away. Chapter 3. Glorified chores. Naruto's apartment. Items are being thrown around and crashes are heard from inside Naruto's apartment at 6:30 in the morning. Will you shut the hell up you stupid brat we're trying to sleep. An angry voice from the apartment below yelled. Naruto ignored the person yelling from the apartment below him. Come on I know one is around here somewhere I've never even used it. About to give up before realization hits him, running over to his bed and flipping it over, yes. I really didn't want to have to carry this staff around all day. Naruto said triumphantly, he looked over the storage scroll the old man bought for him on his 9th birthday to take his things to school in, before he forgot he had it. Sealing his staff away and putting the scroll in his weapons pouch he finished getting dressed. Deciding that since he was a genin he should change his outfit, he now wore a mesh undershirt with a long sleeve form-fitting blue v-neck, sleeves coming down to just past his elbow, black pants tapped off at his ankles with blue shinobi sandals. He looked good. Training ground 7. Arriving at the training ground he's surprised to see that both his teammates are there and his sensei isn't. I'm getting the strangest feeling that this is a recurring theme with Kakashi sensei. Thought Naruto. Naruto walked up to his teammates, he noticed the change in both of their outfits, they both must have had the same idea regarding clothes as him. Toshiro has his headband secured on his forehead to hold back his white spiky hair from going into his eyes, he is now wearing a teal scarf matching the handle of his katana that is diagonal across his back sticking out over his right shoulder, grey short sleeve shirt and black Anbu style pants. Mika had her purple hair in a ponytail with two bangs framing her face with her headband secured on her forehead, wearing a light brown shirt, black spandex coming down to right above her knees, fingerless gloves, and her tanto was horizontal right over her weapons pouch. Naruto walked up yawning, "Morning you two. Man sensei better show up soon, I want to finish this and go back to sleep," Naruto said while rubbing his eyes. Snorting, Toshiro looked over at the blonde, "You better get used to it, we're ninjas now, we're not always going to have a full night's sleep. That's probably why sensei wanted us out here this early, to show us what it's like to work while tired," Toshiro said in an instructing manner. Not hearing her, just not responding, Naruto turned to Mika, "So, what is your fighting style? Toshiro and I have been sparring together for a while, so we need to know about you," Naruto said with a smile. Mika looks down to think about it for a minute. "I'm close range, my tanto is my primary means of attack, and I know the 3 academy jutsu," summarized Mika. Naruto hummed, "Well, I am close to mid-range, I have a variety of ninjutsu, and my taijutsu is good, plus I'm starting to learn bijutsu with my new bow staff. Toshiro here has the academy jutsu and is okay but worse than me in taijutsu," ignoring Toshiro's call of "Ugh you dick." Before continuing, "And just got the katana the day before yesterday, same as me with my staff," Naruto finishes. Mika looked at him for a second blankly, "So? Where's your staff anyway, did you not want to bring it?" Mika asked. Naruto tilts his head to the side before realization hits him, "Oh. I have it sealed in a storage scroll right here, I didn't want to constantly carry it around, so I sealed it here." Naruto gestured to his pocket where the scroll was. Toshiro, not caring about the scroll conversation, decides to interrupt. "How do you two want to handle this test? Should we make a plan?" Toshiro asked Naruto more so than Mika, knowing he probably has a plan already or in the works. "I have been thinking about that myself. Since we don't know what the test is other than that it's a survival exercise, we can't really plan or set traps, it might not even be here, that's why I wanted to share our skills ahead of time," Naruto said, looking at the two to see if they had anything to say before nodding. Man, he sure likes to take his time, not too much longer probably. 2 hours later. Kakashi walked into the training ground looking at his little genin. "Sorry guys, I was on my way here, but I got lost on the road of life," Kakashi said with an eye smile. Toshiro and Mika were not amused with his excuse and sent him a glare. Naruto just sweat drops, "This is Kakashi of the Sharingan," Naruto thought. "Okay. Now since you 3 are 2 hours late," looking confused at the 3 cries of outrage before shrugging, "you only get 1 hour to secure these bells, whoever doesn't get one fails," said Kakashi before pulling out an alarm clock from him. Pocket. Strange, he didn't have it before. "But sensei, you only have 2 bells, how do all of us pass?" asked a confused Mika. "Oh, that's simple, the one or most likely all 3 who fail to get a bell gets tied to a post and goes back to the academy," informed Kakashi, taking delight in their shocked faces. Naruto thought about that doesn't make sense, most T begin. All 3 dash away to a hiding spot. Kakashi looks around, at least they know how to hide. Walking to the center of the training ground and taking out his book to wait, no rush, they have to come to him anyway. Naruto watched Kakashi take out his book, seemingly not caring what any of them do. Something is definitely off, no teams have just 2 genin and a jonin. Something is up. He wants to separate us. Naruto thought triumphantly before dashing off to find his team. Mika watched her sensei while trying to think of a plan of attack. Why is he just sitting there? And why is he reading that? That smut in public. Mika thought, outraged before shaking her head, "I should just wait for one of the other 2 to attack while he is distract." PSST. Mika jolted up in surprise before she turned around to see Naruto. "What are you doing here, Naruto?" Mika whispered. Crawling over to her, "I had a thought, why is he only letting 2 of us pass?" Seeing her raise her eyebrow, he continued, "Because it's a trick, he wants to split us up, no way individually do we stand a chance. It's about teamwork, not if we can get a bell," Naruto said with a smile. Realization dawns on her face before turning to Naruto. "What do you think we should do then?" Mika asked. Taking a second to think, he narrowed his eyes. "First thing is we need to get to Shiro. I want you to do that while I attack and distract Kakashi sensei. Both of you wait for an opening, then take him from his blind spot, which is pretty big, seeing that he is only using one eye," Naruto said, seeing her nod he dashed off. Kakashi is enjoying his book without a care in the world. If his genin decided to quit, no skin off his back. Sensing an attack, he turns around only to be hit by a barrage of shuriken and kunai. Naruto's eyes widened, he didn't expect his attack to land before turning and jumping away on tree branches after Kakashi turned into a log. Great, the attack only succeeded in telling him where I am, I need to get away and regroup. Naruto was interrupted from his thoughts when he saw a perfectly fine Kakashi casually reading his book a few branches in front of him. Kakashi looked up from his book. "So, shall we get started?" Kakashi asked, uninterested. Pausing on his branch, Naruto inhales and exhales slowly before charging him, fast for a genin. Kakashi thought, starting to get interested in the blonde. Spin kicking with his right leg only for Kakashi to block it with his left hand, using Kakashi's arm as a push-off point to turn around and try and punch his throat. Kakashi catches it with his other hand, seeing it is his chance he bends backwards to reach for the bell. Seeing what Naruto is trying to do, he throws him away and backsteps. Well, that is shinobi battle techniques number 1, Taijutsu. Comments Kakashi lightly. Naruto tossed a handful of shuriken before going through 3 hand signs. Lightning crackled on his index and middle finger before he pointed at Kakashi. Lightning release. Lightning stream, Naruto muttered, as a beam of lightning shot at Kakashi, who was batting away the shuriken. Kakashi widened his eye. Elemental ninjutsu. That wasn't in his file. Kakashi thought in shock. Using substitution with a log to get away, Naruto looked around. Where is he? I was expecting a counter. Naruto was interrupted from his thoughts when 2 arms broke through the ground and grabbed his ankles. Earth release. Headhunter jutsu, Kakashi said, rising up from the ground looking at Naruto before taking out his book. I'm surprised, you used a lightning release, not too bad on the execution either. Now. Toshiro and Mika appeared behind Kakashi, Tento and Katana ready to strike. Kakashi dropped his book and took out 2 kunai faster than any of them could register, blocking both weapons before kicking Toshiro away, then switching with another log before it was pierced by numerous wind bullets. Standing on a branch, Kakashi looked at his 3 genin who were starting to talk and regroup, so those 2 were waiting for an opening to attack my blind spots, and that Naruto, he can use 2 elements already. That's crazy, and that wind release. Wind bullets jutsu was quite strong. Affinity maybe. Oh well, they are working together, might as well just. An alarm clock interrupted all of them. Kakashi appeared in front of the 3 genin. You all failed to get even a single bell. Trailed off Kakashi. All 3 looked up at Kakashi when Mika decided to speak up, but sensei, there weren't any 3-man genin teams. So we thought this test was a trick and you wanted to test our teamwork, right? Mika said, uncertainty, looking to her teammates. She saw them smile and nod. She turned back to Kakashi triumphantly. Seeing that the 3 of them were convinced of their conclusion on the true meaning of the test, he smiled. Well, I see that you 3 figured out the test. Congratulations, remember this, those in the ninja world who break the rules are regarded as trash, but those who betray their friends are worse than trash. Now, you guys pass. We are officially Team 7 now. Kakashi said happily. The smiling Toshiro and Mika stood with a madly grinning Naruto between them. Alright. Who's the best? Team 7 is. Who's the best? Yelled Naruto. He looked to his sensei and teammates wanting them to continue. All 3 gave him blank stares in return. Screw you guys. Kakashi cleared his throat. Okay, we'll meet here every morning at 8. I need to report to Hokage-sama, see ya. He said before vanishing in a body flicker. Naruto finished pouting after that. We should go celebrate. To Ichiraku's follow me. Shouted Naruto before dashing off. Mika looked towards Toshiro. He is quite enthusiastic, huh? Said Mika, amused. Toshiro just rolled his eyes. You have no idea. He said before walking off to go to Ichiraku ramen. Mika followed behind. Hokage's office. All the jonin were waiting for the resident copy ninja to arrive. Well, seeing as how he is late, we will just start. Hiruzen was interrupted when the door opened and in walked a smut reading Kakashi. Yosh. My eternal rival, why must you continue to engage in the youthfulness of arriving late? Guy exclaimed. Everyone can practically hear the capital letters when Guy spoke, or rather shouted. The thirds puffed on his pipe. Nice of you to join us, Kakashi. Looking up from his book, Kakashi rubbed the back of his neck. Sorry Hokage-sama, I was on my way here when I saw something shiny. I followed it around for a while before tackling it, only to discover that it was a balloon. But I landed under a ladder and broke a mirror, so I had to walk counterclockwise around the village to find a black cat to toss over my right shoulder into a pile of salt so I don't get bad luck. Said Kakashi, so genuine that it could be interpreted as true by someone who didn't know him. Nobody could bring their mouths to move. Kakashi had finally said an excuse so ridiculous that nobody could bring themselves to even glare. They just turned back to the Hokage, trying to forget the entire thing. The Hokage cleared his throat. Right, well, let's begin starting from 1. What are the results? Hiruzen said, wanting to get the meeting back on track. Team 1. Pass. Team 2. Fail. Team 3. Pass. Yosh, Team 4 has unyouthfully failed. Team 5. Fail. Team 6. Pass. Kakashi looked up from his book at the expectant faces. What? Oh right, Team 7. Pass. To say that everyone was surprised would be an understatement. Kakashi never passed a team no matter how promising. A bearded jonin smoking a cigarette walked up to him. Isn't that Uzumaki kid on your team? Yeah, I would have passed him too, someone like him doesn't come around very often. the bearded commented. Kakashi frowned at the snorts coming from some of the other shinobi after hearing Naruto's name. He looked at the smoking jonin. I would have failed him just the same, should he have failed my test, Asuma. Although I might need your help with something, he used a wind during the test and I suspect it is his affinity. Kakashi said something unusually serious. Asuma raised his eyebrows in surprise. All of that was surprising. He used a wind jutsu. Where would he even get that? Plus a wind affinity here is quite rare. Wanna give him to me? Asked Asuma, hoping that he could teach a fellow wind user. Kakashi, also wanting to know those things, looked at the Hokage. I was wondering about those things as well as Hokage-sama, not only the wind jutsu but also lightning jutsu as well. The surrounding jonin were busy picking up their jaws when the Hokage responded. I gave him a scroll during his last year of the academy containing a low rank for each element. My sensei did that to me when I was younger than Naruto when he noticed that my aptitude for ninjutsu was quite high. I decided to do that for Naruto, suspecting that he was similar to me in that regard. I was right, he mastered the last one about a week ago. The third explained, giving all of them a look daring them to tell him he shouldn't have done it. Kakashi, now knowing how skilled his new student really is, shook his head. Wow, I didn't have enough time to fully test them, but I didn't think Naruto would be this developed. Asuma, getting over how talented the supposed genius blonde is, spoke up. Wow, I thought the rumors that he was some sort of genius were exaggerated, but hearing this I must say. Damn it. You just had to give the slacker a genius student, no fair, dad, I want him. Said Asuma, pouting childishly. Yosh. I will get my own team and they will be superior to yours in every way or else I will do 1000 push-ups on my tongue. Guy challenged while giving his trademark nice guy pose. On his tongue, huh? All the women thought at the same time, some getting a nosebleed. Right. Well, that is all, dismissed. Commanded the god of shinobi. Ichiraku Ramen. Then he was all, Naruto, you're the best shinobi I have ever seen. Mika-chan and the other kid passed too. Naruto boasted truthfully to AM, who giggled when Toshiro punched Naruto off his seat. It must be fun living in your own little world. Toshiro said with a frown. Mika giggled while watching their display. Mika-chan. These two are idiots. She thought with a sweat drop before smiling, but they are my idiots now. Naruto looked over to Mika. Hey Mika-chan, you said that you want to find out your affinity, want to go to the weapons store after we eat to get the chakra paper so we can find out? Asked Naruto happily. He was happy about having someone other than Toshiro to talk to now. Mika looked at Naruto amused. Sure thing, Naruto. Kun, that sounds good, are you going to come to Toshiro? Mika asked the snow-haired genin. Ignoring the smug-looking Naruto, Toshiro answers, yeah, I am curious about my affinity. Naruto here probably doesn't care since he has a jutsu for each element. Toshiro said, accidentally making Naruto's chest swell. Mika turned to Naruto with wide eyes. Really, Naruto-kun, that's amazing. Actually, it was unheard of, a new genin having a variety like that, it shouldn't be possible, she realized. Fearing Naruto might burst from a swollen ego, Toshiro interrupted. Not really that impressive most. Naruto interrupted Toshiro, glaring at him. Yes, it is Mika-chan, and I will teach you for the element your affinity is, when we find it out, and since you have been such a good boy I will for you as well, Toshiro. Naruto said smugly. Grumbling about stupid blonde, Toshiro finished his ramen in silence. After they finished eating they walked out. Naruto hung back with Toshiro before whispering smugly, she likes me more than you. A smirking Naruto said before catching up to Mika, leaving an eye-twitching Toshiro. At least others will have to share in the pain that is Naruto now. Higurashi Weapon Shop. Welcome to Higurashi Weapons, my name is it's you guys, good to see you again. Said Taiji to who he hoped is now lifetime customers. Walking around the store they look for the chakra papers. Finding them they looked at the packet incredulously, why do they come in a pack of 10? Who needs 10? Dear God, these things are expensive. They thought simultaneously. Exiting the shop the three stopped to open the package. Ah, I see you guys went ahead and got some chakra paper. You know the Hokage just told me some interesting things about you, Naruto, regarding your ninjutsu. Said Kakashi, standing behind them like he has been there the whole time, causing Mika to jump. Gee sensei, you don't have to scare me like that, eyeing the ever-present book pervert. Said an annoyed Mika. Kakashi waved her off and took the packet from Naruto, causing him to shout, Oi! Those weren't cheap, so give them back. Ignoring Naruto, he opened the packet, giving them each one slip. Now all you need to do is channel chakra like this. The slip in his hand suddenly crinkled and it will react according to your affinity. Everyone has one and they allow you to mold chakra for that element easier, making jutsu easier to learn and stronger than an element without an affinity. If it crinkles like mine, it is lightning, turning to ash as fire, becoming soggy as water, crumbling to dust as earth, and splitting in half as wind. Kakashi gestured for them to do it. Mika pushed chakra into her paper and it heated up, then turned to ash, fire, not unexpected, it's the most common in this country, hence the name Fire Country. Said Kakashi. Toshiro did the same and it became soggy. Water huh, I pegged you for lightning, oh well. Commented Kakashi. Naruto channels chakra into his, causing it to split in half. I expected as much, during the test your wind was quite strong, but what's surprising is you used lightning. From what I saw it wasn't weaker like one would expect from somebody with the opposite elemental affinity. Okay my cute genin, tomorrow we start Kakashi's training montage number 1. Said a cheerful Kakashi as he walked away with an eye smile. The what? They all thought before Naruto blinked. That bastard stole the chakra papers. Hey. Get back here. I paid for those and I'm gonna keep them. Naruto shouted at his sensei who he couldn't even see in the distance. Naruto started walking in the direction of his apartment, mumbling about stupid thieves. 2 months later. Over the past 2 months Kakashi has been training his team and taking D-rank missions, they have improved greatly. Naruto continued to improve at a rapid rate, his learning curve was just ridiculous. Mika and Toshiro were learning at a good pace themselves. Kakashi decided that they all needed to work on chakra control before he taught them anything new, so he taught them the surface clinging technique and water walking. Naruto surprised him greatly in that his reserves were very large, but his control is still good enough. When Kakashi asked him about it, Naruto told him he has been training his control since he was 6 from a book the Hokage gave him. After constant nagging, when their control got to his liking, Kakashi taught them the body flicker technique. Mika and Toshiro started to constantly spar, trying to get their kenjutsu skills up. Mika would ask her sister to come by to help sometimes. Since she used a katana she could help Toshiro, after helping out a few times, Yugao noticed that Toshiro was turning out to be quite the kenjutsu prodigy, easily catching up to her sister who was no slouch herself. After teaching them the body flicker technique and when they finished the water walking exercise, Kakashi started showing them some low-rank jutsu for their affinities. Mika was taught the fire release. Flame bullet from Naruto like he promised, Kakashi taught her the ever-handy fire release. Phoenix flower jutsu, this fired a volley of small guided fireballs, mostly used for a distraction, but she has hit her teammates while sparring a few times. Toshiro learned the water release. Wild water wave from Kakashi which was a torrent of water that can wash away an enemy, the power can be changed by the amount of chakra used. Naruto was going to show him the jet stream jutsu, but they are basically the same, so Toshiro waved him off. Naruto learned a lot himself, between constantly going through the scroll the old man gave him for his bijutsu and sparring with Kakashi, his taijutsu and bijutsu was coming along very well. He was the only one to try and change the body flicker technique, wanting to make it faster like his dad's was rumored to be. Kakashi taught him a few jutsu, first being the wind release. Great breakthrough, it was a simple gust of wind that varied in strength depending on the chakra used. Kakashi told him that when he mastered wind release the jutsu can be strong enough to knock over a tree. When training their control, Kakashi noticed Naruto's reserves were extremely large, so with the approval of the Hokage, he taught him the Shadow Clone Jutsu. Which was quickly becoming Naruto's favorite jutsu, with the clones being real, not illusions. He has taken to trying ninjutsu combinations with them. He also learned the Shuriken Shadow Clone Jutsu directly from the Hokage on his 10th birthday 2 weeks ago. Yeah, Naruto's birthday, he definitely thought it was his favorite so far. His team, the old man and his son, Asuma came by. Naruto liked Asuma, he's a laid-back guy even though he smokes a lot. Naruto also learned that Asuma was the only person beside him that has a wind affinity. Naruto resolved that he would talk to Asuma about helping with his affinity soon. Kakashi improved the most in his team's opinion, only showing up an hour and 45 minutes late instead of the typical 2 hours. Mission assignment desk. Walking into the office was Team 7, Kakashi reported in, mission complete Hokage-sama, handing the Hokage a scroll. Huffing on his pipe before humming, yes, well that makes an impressive 37 completed D ranks. Good job. Said the Hokage before going through the D rank mission scroll. Okay we have weeding a counselor's garden. No. Murmured Naruto lowly. Walking some dogs. No. Naruto said a little louder. Hatching Tora again which is a high priority mission. Said the Hokage. No. Kakashi thought about them, will all of them sound great I'm thinking. No. I can't take it anymore. 37 of these awful things. If I don't get a real mission I'm going to freak the fuck out. Naruto yelled with a crazy look in his eye. Toshiro and Mika looked at him with blank faces, if he didn't do it, I would. They both thought simultaneously. Well Kakashi, what do you think, are they ready? The third asked Kakashi. Kakashi let out a breath, finally one of them breaks, I was a few feet away from freaking out myself. Kakashi cleared his throat looking at the Hokage, I believe this team is more than ready despite the impatient blonde. Kakashi's eyes smiled at a glaring blonde. Well then let me see, the Hokage said going through the C rank scroll. Ah, here is an escort mission to Suna for a merchant, perfect for a first C rank. The Hokage said, tossing a scroll to Kakashi who caught it. Okay my millionaire students, meet at the front gate in 28 minutes, pack for 2 weeks. The genin sweat dropped at an oddly precise amount of time from the chronically late man before leaving to get ready. Kakashi stayed behind to talk to the Hokage, so, what do you want me to do while I'm in Suna? Questioned Kakashi looking underneath like he constantly told his students to do. Hiruzen puffed on his pipe before replying, Jiraiya has informed me of a decline in missions and that their daimyo has also started to cut their funding. I want you to see if you can find a reason this might be happening and whether or not we might have a problem with them in the future. Third Hokage commanded while refilling his pipe before lighting it with a small use of fire chakra. Dismissed. Chapter 4. Escort Service. Somewhere in Tano Kuni. Jiraiya was bored, walking around the elemental nations is great, but sometimes he really wished Minato showed him the flying thunder god jutsu, he could mark something in every country and not have to walk 24/7. Shaking his head before entering a tea house, finally, this guy better be here, I really want to leave this boring ass country. Thought an irritable Jiraiya. In the back of the tea house is a cloaked figure sipping tea, looking up he sees the Toad Sage himself sit down in front of him, thank you for coming Jiraiya-sama. A flat voice comes from the hooded man. This better be good, I could literally be anywhere else doing anything else. Jiraiya grunts, motioning the cloaked figure to speak. Nodding the figure responds in a monotone, a certain snake is here, he betrayed us a few months ago, some intel we have acquired suggests that he is building up his forces, one of our spies inside says that he will be making a trip to Suna soon. The figure takes a sip of tea before shifting in his seat slightly, how is he? Jiraiya stays silent for a few moments mulling over the new info regarding his wayward teammate. That's indeed troubling, anything he does will undoubtedly be bad for Konoha. Jiraiya said with a frown. The Toad Sage looks toward the cloaked figure and lets a small almost unseen frown grace his face. The old man hasn't said anything about him since the incident 2 years ago, but from what he has told me after that night he hasn't been the same. I still think he should know at least some truth, he's a major fight risk as it is now. Jiraiya said seriously. The figure finishes his tea before standing up. Thank you for coming to Jiraiya-sama, I will contact you when I can. The figure says emotionlessly before disappearing. Sipping his own tea mulling over some of his info, Orochimaru leaves the Sakatsuki and is now building some kind of army, if that isn't bad enough he is targeting Suna, the country having the most economic trouble. Just great, I should head towards Suna and have a look for myself. Sighing Jiraiya gets up, he really didn't want to go to Suna, but someone has to. Konoha. Naruto's apartment. Naruto is packing his backpack, sleeping bag. Check, couple change of clothes. Check, extra shuriken and kunai my froggy wallet, looks like I'm all set. Naruto runs out his door, locking it and using the body flicker technique to get to the gate. Main gate. Toshiro is looking at the client, the man is in his late 20s by the name of Fukumo, some wealthy merchant's son who is too old to make the trip. Fukumo looks at the white-haired genin. When are we going to be on our way? I would really like it if we can make it back before my father dies. Fukumo said irritably he has been waiting for 10 minutes, he has had servants killed for less. We will be leaving when the rest of my team arrives, 20 more minutes at the latest. Toshiro said, repressing a snort. Mika and Naruto walk up to the client and bow respectively, hello my name is Mika Yuzuki, this is my teammate Naruto Uzumaki, our sensei should be here soon. Hopefully. Mika said the last word silently. The poof is heard making all of them turn their heads, hello there, I am the Jonin sensei for this team, my name is Kakashi Haddock. An oddly professional Kakashi says, the genin thought he was only capable of sounding bored. Finally we can get a move on. Fukumo said before walking off. Naruto looks at him frowning, great, I can see how this mission is going to go. Naruto says, before following the client. Mama Naruto, don't worry it is only a 5-day journey one way 1 or 2 days there and 5 more back. See. Not that bad, it will be fun. Kakashi chirped cheerfully before following the client himself. 3 days later. Order of Hai no Kuni and Kei's no Kuni. Naruto was trying to push down the urge to just shove his staff down the client's throat. It would be so easy, by the looks on his teammates' face, they were trying to stop themselves from killing Fukumo themselves. For the past 3 days all Fukumo did was whine and complain about how he shouldn't have to do this and how he started calling them. Should go and get the supplies he needs for him. Not only that, but Naruto was recognized by him immediately, which only made him more irritable that the boy was escorting him. Naruto and company were around the client in a diamond formation, Naruto up front, Toshiro and Mika on his sides, with Kakashi bringing up the rear. And another thing. Father never told me about having to walk the whole way, the least he could do is buy before Fukumo could finish. Toshiro pushed him back and out of the way of an arrow that was about to hit him. Toshiro keeps guard, Naruto Mika gets ready, it's a group of bandits, don't hesitate they want. Kakashi ordered his genin. Right as Kakashi finished, 5 huge bandits armed with swords burst through the bushes, Naruto and Mika taking one each, while Kakashi took the rest. Naruto unsealed his staff and twirls it in his hands, he ducks under an untrained swing from the bandit. Naruto slams the bandit in the stomach with his staff, knocking the wind out of the bandit and making him double over. Spinning his staff to get some momentum before bringing it down on the back of the bandit's head as hard as he could, knocking the bandit out. Mika parried her opponent's stab with her tanto, then slicing him across the chest, falling to his knees in pain. Mika was going to knock him out before Naruto appears in front of her, going through hand seals, finishing in the snake seal, earth release. Earth-style wall, Naruto muttered before a huge wall of solid earth springs up in front of them, blocking a volley of arrows. Thanks, Naruto-kun. Mika says quietly. Kakashi was tying up his 3 bandits, he was about to intercept the arrows himself before Naruto did. Turning his head to his client and remaining student, Kakashi sighs in relief, finding neither one hurt. Toshiro is on guard, there is one more, an archer, tuning around just in time to go through Seal's water release. Wild water wave. Toshiro intercepted the arrows and washed the bandit out of the tree, knocking him out in the process. Good job everyone. Excellent job protecting the client, it seems to be just your average bandits looking for a payday from our client. Kakashi said, taking his book back out to read now that the danger was gone. Fukumo, who didn't think that any of them were dependable, was relieved to be alive. Okay, let's continue on. Fukumo said no thank you and just started walking. You're welcome, you dick. All the genin thought at the same time. Well my lovely little genin, shall we continue? Kakashi asked, before they all got back information to continue to Suna. Sunagakure no Sado. I've got sand so far up my ass my farts will be visible for a month. Naruto was annoyed. Kakashi turns to his team, okay, I will be escorting the client while we are here, you 3 get us a hotel room and have a look around, see you later. Kakashi told his team before following an annoyed Fukumo. Mika adjusted her backpack before looking at her teammates and speaking up, what do you 2 want to do now? We will probably have 2 or so days before we leave. She asked. Well if I don't get something cold within the next hour I am literally going to die. An irritable and sweating Toshiro said, super hot weather like what is found in the desert is his worst enemy. Even worse is Kakashi, who was more heavily clothed than all of them, but he looked as comfortable as he would back home. When asked how, he said it was a chakra control technique involving circulating chakra through his body to cool him, only Naruto was able to partially get it during the trip, much to Toshiro's ire. Naruto shrugs, I don't care what we do, something cold does sound good though. Looking to Mika to see what she wants to do only for her to shrug, they follow Toshiro so they can get some drinks before he melts. Hours later. Naruto, not being able to sleep, decides walking around Suna would be a nice way to relax, nighttime was actually quite peaceful and pretty cold in the desert. Getting a strange feeling, Naruto turns around to come face to face with a boy around his age, with a tattoo of the kanji for love on his forehead and dark circles around his eyes, giving Naruto a look that he really didn't like. What's up with this guy, why is he looking at me like that? We are too young and I'm not into that kind of stuff. I better turn him down before he even asks. Hey listen up buddy, I'm not into that. Mother? Yes. She wants it. She wants your blood. Said the obviously crazy kid. Mother? Blood? What the fuck? Naruto looks at the ground, sand starts to move towards him, strange, why is the sand on the ground moving? I don't feel any wind. Naruto sees the kid move his hand towards him. Wait, is he controlling sand? That's bullshit, sand is literally everywhere. Naruto jumps back from the stream of sand coming for him. Naruto weaves through seals for the water release. Jet stream, he fires a torrent of water at the sand making it weak, before he can go on the offensive. Gold dust surrounds the kid. Ara. Stop this at once. A voice from above Naruto thunders. Looking up, Naruto sees the Kazukiage and Kakashi on the roof of the shop behind Naruto. Breaking the hold the gold dust has on him, Gaara walks off, but not before giving Naruto one last message, we will meet again, and I will have it. I will give your blood to mother. Gaara said darkly before leaving. I apologize about my son Kakashi-san, he isn't well. Apologize to the Kazukiage, handing Kakashi a scroll. Give this to Hokage Dono when you return, thank you. The leader of Suna said before disappearing in a whirl of gold dust. Naruto jumps up to Kakashi. That was weird, he felt strange, really strange, and Naruto put his hand to his stomach over the seal. I think that kid is a Jinchuriki like me. Naruto said slowly. Widening his visible eye, Kakashi looks at Naruto, are you sure? That could also be the magnet release Kekkei Genkai. Naruto shook his head, no. I'm sure, that strange feeling, it was definitely coming from my seal, he's a Jinchuriki. Naruto said confidently and more seriously than Kakashi was used to seeing Naruto, it reminded him of his sensei. Kakashi wanted to change the subject. Anyway, let's get a good night's sleep, Fukumo-san got everything he needed, so we will be leaving ahead of schedule. Kakashi said, both using the body flicker technique to go back to the hotel. 5 days later. Hokage's office. Congratulations on your first successful C rank, your client had nothing but the best praise for all of you. Third Hokage congratulated me. Team 7 all have sweat drops on the back of their heads, he didn't sound like he was thankful during the trip. They all thought simultaneously. Naruto's head snapped, I just remembered something. How are there rumors that Suna is losing funding if their cage literally attacks with gold? Naruto asked incredulously. It had been bothering him since he saw the stream of gold dust, he was tempted to scoop someone up. The third and Kakashi both shrug out a who knows. Okay, you three, head to Ichiraku's. I'll meet you there in a bit to celebrate our first successful C rank. Kakashi told his 3 heir 2 genin. Naruto left when the word Ichiraku was said, the third told them, making the rest of the team sigh as the Hokage gave out a chuckle. After the other genin leave, Kakashi turns to the Hokage. I have some interesting info regarding Suna's Jinchuriki. Kakashi said, making the third lean in seriously, he is very unstable and has been corrupted by the Biju, referring to it as mother, going as far as attacking Naruto when he saw him. Kakashi reported. Did he identify Naruto as a Jinchuriki? Asked a worried Hiruzen, they really didn't need that. Kakashi shook his head, no, he didn't say it, but if he did know, he won't tell their cage, he doesn't appear to follow orders, only really doing what he wants. Said Kakashi. The third sighs in relief, good, I don't want that known, we have kept it tight-lipped after I passed my law. That also might explain the lack of faith the Wind Daimyo is feeling toward them, if their leader can't control their strongest weapon, it makes him look weak and unreliable. The third Hokage said he didn't like being referred to as weapons, but Suna obviously is one. Waving his hand, the third dismisses Kakashi. With the news Jiraiya just sent me about Orochimaru, the learning of an unstable Jinchuriki, I see why he is targeting Suna, something big is coming. The third lets out a sigh, I need to start training more often now, so when we get attacked, I want to be in top form. There isn't anyone yet who can replace me since Jiraiya won't do it and Tsunade. Not sure how I would feel about her leading. Her will of fire has been extinguished. The third thought sadly, he wished he could help his female student, but she didn't want help, she wanted to feel bad for herself. Looking down on his desk at the larger than normal stack of paperwork, a few pieces of paper stick out, most importantly the Chunin exams in 3 months, every 2 years Konoha hosts it. However, the request from Iwa and Kumo is most troubling. Why would they want to send a team? The Hokage thought. Gonna be an interesting exam for sure since Naruto will undoubtedly be in it. Ichiraku Raymond T. I mean, the look in his eye was really strange. AMD-chan, I thought he was going to come on to me or something, but thankfully he only wanted to kill me, much easier to deal with than some guy coming on to me, it's way less awkward. Naruto said while stuffing his face with ramen. The giggling AM looks up from her magazine, well, I'm glad you three had fun and are alright, what are you going to do now? Toshiro decides to speak up before the blonde can. Probably train a lot more, we have proven that we can handle a C rank, so we should get more of them now. Toshiro said he wants to continue training with his water affinity. Kakashi sat down next to Mika without making a noise, right, you are Toshiro, pausing so Mika can yell at him for scaring her, we are going to train a lot more and take a few more missions, and in 3 or so months I'm going to test you guys. Said Kakashi before ordering some ramen for himself. Curious Mika speaks up, test for what? That my cute little genin is a secret. Kakashi said annoyingly, making them all grumble. Before Kakashi starts to eat, he looks at Naruto, oh, I almost forgot I ran into Asuma on my way here and he wanted you to meet him at training ground 21. Naruto. Getting up to leave, Naruto yells out a bye. Before initiating the body flicker technique. Training ground 21. Asuma watches Naruto run into the training ground and exhales some smoke. Well, not too late, but you really shouldn't pick up your sensei's habit. Asuma comments lightly. Sorry Asuma-sensei, but I came here as soon as I heard. Naruto said. Asuma waved him off and motioned the blonde to come closer. Okay, I want to start giving you instructions on wind manipulation. Seeing Naruto start to smile makes Asuma smile. You are going to have to be very careful, wind is the hardest and most dangerous to control for beginners. Your first task is to cut this leaf, handing Naruto a leaf before picking up one. The goal is to split your chakra in half, then make them grind against each other finely and sharply like this. Putting the leaf between his palms, then opening them to reveal a leaf with a slice through it, much like the chakra paper. Okay, finely and sharply, huh? Naruto said before putting the leaf between his palms and concentrating for a few minutes to reveal a leaf with a cut through a fourth of it. Wow, I didn't expect you to get it that quickly. Every time you cut it even a little, pick up a new leaf. The objective is to be able to cut the whole leaf in one go," instructed Asuma. 4 hours later sat an astonished Asuma. 4 hours, wow, you really do pick things up fast. It usually takes days for someone, a really slow person could even take months, hell years even," said an astonished Asuma. Naruto grinned at the praise. "Thanks Asuma-sensei, I really want to master wind as fast as I can so I can move on to the next element," said a determined Naruto. Admiring the determination, "Well, the second step is much harder, but not that necessary, only for really high levels that I never even needed to use. So I would suggest moving on to another element if you think you are up to it. I heard about what my dad said about your skills by the way, learning a jutsu and mastering an element are two very different things," Asuma told the blonde. "Just so I know, what is the next level of wind manipulation?" asked Naruto. Asuma gave Naruto a grin, splitting a waterfall in half. Asuma said, enjoying the shocked look. Blinking a few times before narrowing his eyes with a frown, "Where even is a waterfall close to here?" asked Naruto. "That's why I was saying you should move on, it isn't completely necessary, but if you master earth and water, you could make a waterfall yourself to do it," said a smirking Asuma. "While I'm here I can give you the first steps to each element, which you have probably figured out. It is making a leaf take the properties of the chakra paper, fire is making it burn and turn to ash, lightning is wrinkling it, water is making it soggy, and earth is turning it to dust. There are only 3 or 4 major exercises for each element to achieve mastery, but there are also other ones you can do to up your control even higher, just look in the library. Well, when you get access to the second floor," Asuma instructed before lighting another cigarette. Smiling at the goldmine of new info, "Thanks for the help Asuma-sensei," said Naruto. "Well kid, I think it is time for me to head home, don't kill yourself out here," Asuma said before poofing away. Naruto with a new goal decided since he still has about 1 hour or so of daylight left, decided to train some more. From what the scroll for the shadow clone jutsu said, maybe I can use them to train, let's see. Naruto thought, making 9 clones before splitting into pairs and giving each pair a separate element to train, they got to work. After about an hour and a half all the clones popped at the same time as per Naruto's command. Yeah, this is awesome for sure, although I didn't see nearly as much progress as I did for wind. Oh well, if it were easy everyone would do it. 3 months later. During the past 3 months Team 7 went on 3 more C-rank missions and continued to train. Miku got a new tanto, it was made from a special metal that makes streaming chakra through the blade much easier, something she liked to do with her fire chakra. After training with it for 2 months she got skilled enough to do it. On the front she continued to train her control so that she can do higher level jutsu. So far having enough control in chakra to learn the fire release. Grand Fireball Jutsu. Also having the necessary control to learn the Shuriken Shadow Clone Jutsu. Physically she was very flexible much to her teammates' annoyance. When a pretty girl starts showing off her flexibility you want to watch not fight, and she knew that. Toshiro has been continuing to train with Mika and Yugao whenever he could, he was starting to get noticed for his talent with a sword, some calling him a Kenjutsu prodigy. Ninjutsu-wise, Toshiro was trying to finish the second level of water manipulation, which is touching a body of water, preferably a lake, then making a whirlpool the size of the lake and shrinking it until it is the size of your palm. It was really difficult, and to make matters worse, the little annoying blonde genius was getting it faster than he was. It was annoying as hell, he should be quicker, it was his affinity, damn it. Toshiro managed to learn a new jutsu, water release. Water severing wave, in which the user expels a stream of water so pressurized it can pierce stone. Naruto, ever the genius and shadow clone jutsu abusing ninja, would have 15 clones going all day, 2 for each elemental training, and the rest for chakra control. He need to constantly to train his control so he can move forward with it, Kakashi-sensei said. Since he is a Jinchuriki his capacity is growing 10 times faster than average, his capacity was now on par with Kakashi's, and only growing, so he has to constantly train to keep it under control. Making good on his multitasking abilities with clones, Naruto can research jutsu while they train his control. He found one Jinjutsu that he liked called the mirroring perception jutsu. It can make you think you're moving one way when you're really moving the opposite. It was hilarious to use on Toshiro in the mornings when he is drowsy. With elemental manipulation training other than wind, Naruto made the most headway with water and earth already on the second level for both. Fire and lightning were coming along, he's got a crinkle in the leaf, just not a big one like what Kakashi can do. For fire the top part of the leaf is starting to burn, progress. Naruto also learned the earth release. Earth flow river, he can make a very strong current of mud to wash away his opponent. Having such a large chakra capacity he learned the second Hokage's water release. Water colliding wave, with it he builds up a lot of chakra, then spews out water, making it a vortex surrounding him, then directing it toward his target. He can knock over a tree if he hits it directly, it was that strong. His wind release. Great breakthrough got a decent power boost too thanks to his wind training. He doesn't have the skill to make a waterfall himself, so he started cutting rocks until he finds or has the skill to create a waterfall. Training Ground 7. Team 7 is waiting for Kakashi to arrive, they each have been training even harder than before, so they can pass this test Kakashi was going to give them. Okay, who wants to set Kakashi-sensei's apartment on fire if he doesn't get here in the next 5 minutes? Asked Naruto. Mika ever the pyro looks over at Naruto with a gleam in her eye, ooh oh yes. That would be fun, I call dibs. Mika chirped happily. Mama, Mika-chan, you want to burn your poor sensei's home, that's not very nice. Kakashi said, appearing right behind her scaring the hell out of Mika. Damn it sensei, how many times do I have to tell you to stop scaring me? An angry Mika yelled. Toshiro ever the serious one looks at his sensei, so what is this test we're going to be doing? Toshiro asked in a business tone. Naruto snorts at a straight to business Toshiro, come on man, lighten up, have a little fun. Naruto said with a smile. Toshiro rolled his eyes at Naruto, but having a small smirk on his face, he looked at his sensei. I have heard a few rumors from some merchants about an upcoming event. Are you going to test us to see if we can enter the Chunin exam? Toshiro asked, hitting the nail on the head. Naruto and Mika's eyes widen looking at their sensei. Well, thanks for ruining the surprise, but yes, I want to do the bell test again, no time limit, but the difference is pulling up his headband to reveal his Sharingan. I'm going to make this a little more difficult. All three tense at their sensei's Kekkei Jinkai. Kakashi ties a single bell to his belt. Get this from me and I will let you enter, if not you can wait for the next one. Ready, begin. All three jumping away in the same direction, what's the plan? Asked Mika. With his eye, surprise attacks are useless, he is faster than us without it, so we need to attack him continuously. He knows that we stand no chance against him so he won't go all out. Toshiro, when I distract him you charge as fast as you can, go get behind him. Mika, you and I will do that wind-fire combination we've been practicing. Naruto explained, his team nodded before getting into position. Kakashi was waiting patiently, his team was watching, he knew it, Obito's eye might be overkill, but he was confident in them, plus it wasn't like he was going to go all out, just level with his eye active. Feeling a chakra build up to his right, he looks over to see 6 small fireballs heading toward him before a gust of wind blows through the area enhancing the fireballs, making them bigger and white hot, tripling their danger. Good job you two, you got the combination down. Thought Kakashi. It was a very difficult combination, Mika would use the fire release. Phoenix Flower Jutsu decreasing the amount of fireballs to 6 and increasing the intensity so that Naruto's wind release. Great breakthrough wouldn't smother the flames. It's very advanced fire manipulation. It also showed that they were coming for the kill, Kakashi was just so proud. Pushing down the building pride, Kakashi focuses on not getting hit by any of the very lethal fireballs, which wasn't too hard with a Sharingan. 2 more were approaching at 1 and 4 o'clock, jumping and twirling between them coming out unscathed. He noticed Toshiro coming too late and getting a slice on his right side, flak jacket taking most of the blow, it still got a good cut out of Kakashi. Naruto and Mika were in the tree watching Toshiro engage Kakashi. Mika, I'm going to throw a kunai, I want you to wait until Kakashi-sensei moves out of the way of it, then use the substitution on the kunai and attack, okay? Seeing her nod, Naruto takes out a kunai. Toshiro was annoyed, his sensei was impossible to hit with that eye of his no matter what he did. Toshiro throws a handful of shuriken as he jumps back using the shuriken as a distraction to let him weave through hand seals. Water release. Water severing wave, thought Toshiro, aiming at his sensei's dick just to be an asshole. They both notice a kunai flying towards Kakashi's head, not wanting to get hit by either attacks coming, he dodges both of them. The water jutsu ending under him mid-jump and the kunai just past his head, Kakashi relaxes, then the kunai busts into smoke to reveal Mika with her tanto. Seeing no way out he switched with a log to his right. Naruto was waiting, bow staff at the ready, by a log that was too well placed not to be used by his sensei after the surprise attack. When Kakashi appears he starts going to work. Going as fast as he can and as hard as he can, Naruto tries to wear his sensei down, Mika and Toshiro charging in his blind spots. Naruto went for a leg sweep, only for Kakashi to jump over it. Mika tries to slice his arm off only for him to grab her wrist, then kicking Naruto in the chest, knocking him away. Seeing his opening, Toshiro aims for his sensei's shoulder making him turn away, giving him enough time to slice the string holding the bell before he catches an elbow to the face. Naruto charges back and spinning his bow stuff going for his sensei's neck. Kakashi tossed Mika away to put chakra into both hands and catch the staff only to wince, he can surely hit hard with that thing. Grimaced Kakashi. Mika, free from the hold, dives for the bell while her sensei's hands are occupied. Got it? Mika shouted triumphantly, making all of them look at her. Kakashi covers up his Sharingan before speaking, "Good job you three, very good teamwork, I'm proud of each of you." Kakashi said he pulled out 3 packets of paper, his students didn't even try to figure out where he was keeping them, they just chalked it up to him being Kakashi. "These are the Chunin exam Signa packets, fill them out and be at the academy tomorrow at 9 AM to take your test, don't be late." Kakashi instructed, all 3 sweat dropped when the chronically late Kakashi tells them to be on time. "Alright. We are going to dominate the exam. All 3 of us will totally get promoted." Naruto boasted, his teammates smiled and smirked respectively. "There is no doubt in my mind that you 3 have what it takes to be Chunin, however there is word that teams from Kumo and Iwa are coming, be careful with those teams, if they are confident enough to come here for the exam, then they will be very strong. Don't forget that you 3 are the only rookies going into the exam from the Leaf, so be extra careful." Kakashi warned before his mood brightens. "Now go do whatever you guys do and get a good night's sleep. You have a big day tomorrow." Naruto says goodbye to both his teammates before disappearing with a body flicker technique. Hokage Monument. Naruto is sitting atop his father's stone head. "I'm going to be taking the Chunin exams. Dad, I'm kinda nervous about seeing the teams from Iwa and Kumo. Tell mom I will be careful and not to worry, I'm going to win this thing or my name's not Naruto Uzumaki. Namikaze." Naruto thought with determination. Chapter 5. Full Metal Ibiki. Wagakure no Sato. Tsuchikage's office. Sitting behind the Tsuchikage's desk is Inoki the fence-sitter. The longest running cage beating out here is in Sarutobi, the 3rd Hokage by 2 years. He was a feared man during the 2nd and 3rd Shinobi Wars, capable of destroying entire divisions with his dust-release Kekkei Toda, and the only shinobi to learn the secrets of the 2nd Tsuchikage's camouflage jutsu. Now, however, he isn't addressing a promising team of genin. "Now listen up, you 3 need to be very cautious while you are in Konoha. They will obviously still share our mutual distrust and hatred, but that fool of a Reikage Dono is sending his best team of genin as well, so they will be there too, so Konoha's scorn will be split between you. I want you to scope out any potential threats and up-and-coming legends the Leaf is known to crap out every 5 years. Obvious corn could be heard at the end. It was no secret that Inoki wanted to step down, hell he wanted to 15 years ago. The fact of the matter is, no shinobi has come along that could defeat him, and he wasn't going to let someone weaker than him take over. His granddaughter has potential, she is going to show it at the Chunin exams." Then there was Deidara, one of the few that came along with real talent, only to blow a bunch of shit up laughing like a maniac before leaving. Crazy asshole. However, Inoki found one. By God he found one. 2 years ago, a boy orphaned by the 4th Hokage during the war stood out at the academy, and Inoki wanted to test him, and boy was he happy he did. He is compatible. The dust release won't die with Inoki, his new student is learning and hopefully will take his hat in a few years. "Akatsuchi, make sure my granddaughter doesn't do something stupid." Inoki ordered Akatsuchi to be a large 14-year-old, almost 6 feet tall, chubby but very strong and a talented earth user. "Hi Tsuchikage-sama." Akatsuchi said, while bowing respectfully. "Hey Gramps. I don't need the giant to babysit me," pouted Kuretsuchi. She is a short 13-year-old, barely coming up to Akatsuchi's shoulder, having short black hair and pink pupilless eyes. She wields the lava release Kekkei Genkai. The reason she has it, Inoki thinks, is because her body could not handle his Kekkei Toda and only inherited the earth and fire properties. "And you Demitsuchi, keep that technique in your pocket until the finals," Inoki ordered, making sure his young protege understood. Demitsuchi is an average height 13-year-old standing at 5'2", he wore a red shirt and brown pants, spiky brown hair kept out of his face by his headband, he has bandages covering entirely from his elbows down to his fingertips. Practicing dust release is very dangerous, he has burned his arms more times than he could count. Getting a wordless nod, Inoki dismisses them. "Those 3 each show lots of promise, hopefully enough that I can attend the finals. It's been a while since I saw that old monkey," thought Inoki. Kumagakure no Sato. Reikage's office. Currently curling a 500-pound dumbbell with one arm is the 4th Reikage. He's a huge almost 7-foot-tall man with a body of a professional wrestler, wearing blue pants and a gold wrestling championship belt with no shirt on. During the 3rd Shinobi War he encountered Minato Namikaze numerous times on the battlefield, was the only one who could keep up with him, and with the death of the 4th Hokage, he now has the title of the fastest shinobi alive. Mixing in A's already enormous strength with his signature lightning release armor makes an opponent most wouldn't know how or even could handle. He drops the dumbbell and sits behind his desk, clears his throat before addressing the genin team before him. "Now, you 3 will be leaving to go to Konoha for the Chunin exams, reports show that they have a very promising shinobi by the name of Naruto, family name unknown. I want you to find out who he is and defeat him publicly. Derry, out of this team you are the strongest, so I want you to take charge while you're in Konoha. Also I want all of you to eliminate as much competition as you can before the finals, except for Naruto and the team from Iowa. Ordered A. Derry is the Raikage's top up-and-comer. He could have been promoted a year ago, but with Konoha hosting next exam, A waited. Derry is the only holder of the storm release Kekkei Genkai in the entire village. He is average height for a 13-year-old, he has dark skin and shaggy blonde hair with a cleaver sword strapped to his back, he wears the standard Kumo uniform sans flak jacket, sleeveless high collar, zip-up black shirt zipped up to his collarbone and black pants. "Hi boss, it will be dull, but I can do it," drawled out Derry, not looking interested. C and Samui were watching in silence, knowing better than to interrupt the boss. Samui is a 5'1" 13-year-old girl with a solid C-cup, short blonde hair and a cool attitude. She's wearing a deep V-neck with mesh under to show off cleavage and grey pants, having a tanto strapped horizontally on her belt. She is skilled in lightning release and has a solid grasp in. C is wearing the standard Kumo uniform, same as Derry, only difference is that his shirt was zipped up the entire way. C, unlike his team, is a sensor, he is still developing his technique, but he is good for about 200 meters. He isn't as physically strong as his team, focusing on ranged lightning, and has started to learn the basics to medical ninjutsu. He is the ideal support teammate. Bowing to their leader, they take their leave to head to Konoha. Day of the exam. Sunagakure no Sado Academy. Naruto is excited, finally he will get to show his stuff and he is ready, he is more than ready. He has trained himself into the dirt for months for this, and he would win no matter what stood in his way. Looking over to his teammates, both have matching looks of seriousness and determination. "Okay guys, let's do this, watch each other's back and stay calm, and we can win no problem," Naruto said, both nodding to Naruto before they proceed to enter the academy. Walking up 2 flights of stairs, they are greeted by the sight of their sensei. "Alright you three, there is some strong competition, so don't let your guard down for a second. Naruto, can I have a word for a second?" Naruto looks at his sensei before nodding and walking a few feet away. "I have to warn you, the foreign teams will target you since you look so much like your father, so be careful, okay? They will most likely go for a kill. Your father is to Iowa what the Nine Tails is to Konoha." Kakashi whispered. Naruto's eyes widened when Kakashi said father. "Of course I know Naruto, he was my sensei, hell I used to bodyguard your mother while she was pregnant with you, you think I'd let someone else be your sensei?" Kakashi said with an eye smile. Naruto's eyes started to water, giving off one of his rare genuine small smiles, not his mega over-exaggerated grin. "Thanks Kakashi." "Nai-san," Naruto said the last part shyly and uncertainly, making Kakashi freeze before a grin that was visible under his mask took over his face. "No problem," Kakashi said, ruffling Naruto's hair before shooting him off to the first test. "Sensei, Abito. I'm not alone anymore," Kakashi thinks, his eyes narrowing in fierce determination. "I won't fail this team, I won't be too weak this time." Classroom 315. There are a lot of people Naruto thought of, more than he expected. He didn't know why, but he thought there would only be 5 or 6 teams. "We should find a seat," Naruto said slowly to his team, seeing them nod. They are about to walk off before someone interrupts them. "Hi there, you must be the rookies I've heard were attending, my name is Kabuto Yakushi," Kabuto said, walking up to them. He has silver hair pulled into a ponytail. He is wearing a high-collar purple sleeveless shirt with a white short-sleeve shirt under it, purple pants and fingerless gloves similar to Kakashi's. "Standing there like a frozen animals isn't making you three any less of a target, everyone here will be gunning for the rookies, but since I'm so nice, how about I help you out?" Taking out a stack of cards, "These are ninja info cards on everyone here, tell me who and I will give you at least some background," said Kabuto. Team 7 looks at each other before Naruto speaks up. "Who are the teams from Kumo and Iowa?" Taking out 2 cards, "Okay, Kumo first." The Kumo team consists of Derry, C and Samui of Sunagakure, all 3 have lighting affinities, which is to be expected. Derry's stats look to be much higher than his teammates. Now Iowa, this team consists of Akatsuchi, Demitsuchi and Kuritsuchi, who also happens to be the Tsuchikage's granddaughter. Not much information is known about them, other than they all have high ninjutsu skills," said Kabuto. "What makes you think you can talk about us?" "Hey Four Eyes, who are these 3? Said an angry Kuritsuchi, she had more than just skill in ninjutsu. "Thank you very much." She looks at the team who asked about them and narrows her eyes at the blonde one, he looks familiar. Kabuto takes out another card. "Well, this is Team 7, led by Kakashi Haddock, they are the only rookies attending this exam. Mikizuki and Toshiro here both specialize in Kenjutsu, while Naruto Uzumaki, the Kumo team, snap their heads up at the name and start listening to Kabuto. He is our resident genius, graduated top of his class 3 years early, all it says is he is skilled in all shinobi disciplines." Kabuto summed up by surprising the Kumo team that someone so young is that skilled and developed. Emitsuchi's eyes narrow, he is one sensei, a definite legend in the making and future threat, unless we take care of him first that is. Kitsuchi was about to say something when smoke erupts throughout the room. Now listen up you rug-munching brats. My name is Ibiki Marino, memorize it, write it down or cut it into your fucking dick sack, but make sure you remember it. Because I'm the guy that will haunt your nightmares till the day your shitty excuse for a life decides to come to a pathetic end. Now, take a fucking number and have a fucking seat. Commands Ibiki. Everyone scrambles to do what was asked of them, nobody opening up their mouths. Once everyone was in their seats Ibiki decided to praise them. Well what do you know, it seems that you guys are only partially brain dead. Well whoop-de-fucking-do, you're already failing. Chunin should be able to think for themselves, not blindly follow orders. What if you sat down and there had been an explosive note? All you succeeded in doing would have been blowing your asshole apart worse than your uncle did on your 8th birthday after your daddy took your mommy inside to go swallow some of your unborn brothers and sisters. But I don't give a shit, the more of you that die out there the less work I have to do as head of the torture unit. Screamed Ibiki in his warm and affectionate voice. This guy is great. Though Naruto amused at the verbal abuse, to him it was more comical than intimidating, but everyone else seems pretty intimidated. Now you are going to have 1 hour to complete this test, if you get caught cheating 3 times you fail, if one person on your team fails, you all fail. If you feel that you are too stupid to comprehend the simple questions and fear that your pea-sized brain will turn to slush, then you can quit, do that, and the rest of your worthless excuse for a team fails. Ibiki said, signaling for some to pass out the tests. When everyone has a test you will have 1 hour. But hurry the fuck up so I can get my dick polished by the 3 whores I bought but had to leave because I was ordered to test you worthless rug-munching maggots. Ibiki said politely. After receiving his test Naruto looked around at the people taking the test, most were struggling, the Iwa and Kumo ninjas seemed to be handling it alright and he couldn't see his team since they were sitting behind him. 54 minutes later. Okay it didn't seem like this test was too hard, mostly high-level material, even some jonin stuff. Wait, cheat 3 times. Oh, they want us to cheat. Stupid assholes, what if you know the material, it makes the real test worthless. Thought a now finished and bored Naruto, seeing that he has 5 minutes he decides to take a nap. Listen up you sorry excuses of shinobi. There is one more question. Fail this question and you not only fail the entire exam, but you can never take the exam again. Which would make me happy because just looking at all of you ugly sacks of shit makes me want to slam my wiener repeatedly into a tub of acid. Ibiki told them, killing intent, and Kai from now on going at full blast, most were sweating, team after team started to quit. Nika is scared, she isn't as strong as Naruto and Toshiro, and she definitely isn't as smart as Naruto, he may goof around, but he is sharper than her Tanto. Maybe I should give up, Naruto-kun probably won't care he would brush it off and train even harder, she looks over to Toshiro, Toshiro-kun, he will be very upset, he may even hate me, I don't want that we are so close now after training almost every day, but I don't want to never be able to try again I should just. No. I won't quit before I even try, Toshiro-kun, and Naruto-kun would never forgive me. Mika mentally rallied herself. Naruto was unintimidated, ya nice try asshole, no way the old man would sign off on that, no way. Naruto thought, completely calm. Toshiro is stone-faced, never once have I backed from a challenge, from constantly losing to Naruto in spars since the academy, to constantly losing spars to Kakashi-sensei, to learning and getting my ass kicked by Yuga-sensei. Man. I need to start winning some fights, this is getting pathetic. Toshiro thought the last part with a storm cloud over his head depressed. You sorry sacks of cow shit have 30 seconds to decide. Seeing that the remaining teams were standing firm he cuts the kai. And starts the ever condescending technique of slow clapping. Would you look at that? It seems that there are a few of you who actually have what's known as a spine, I hope you all have fun ripping it out of each other in the next test. Congratulations Ibiki. Right as he said that the window explodes and a banner is held up by a shuriken that reads, the sexy and single Anko Mitarashi. Standing a solid 5'5" was Anko Mitarashi, she has purple hair and a ponytail, oddly resembling a Nara Naruto met in the academy. She is wearing a mesh bodysuit that started at her neck and ended mid-thigh, she has an orange miniskirt over the mesh and a tan trench coat. Oh god she is so hot. Someone said in the back. Thank you, now let's all play and follow the leader to my favorite training ground number 44. You have 5 minutes or you fail, bye. She said it disappeared with the use of the body flicker technique. Scrambling up and out of their desks everyone starts flooding out of the room. Forest of Death. Entrance. The Forest of Death, the place is home to all sorts of freaky shit, from giant man-sized spiders to leeches the size of shoes. This place isn't for the faint of heart. Covering almost 40 square kilometers it was the biggest training ground Konoha had to offer and the most dangerous. It was said that the first Hokage Hashirama Senju created a forest surrounding Konoha. Most believe it, some think it's old people's bullshit. However, everyone believes that he created the forest of death. When he was alive the forest was always bright and flowing with his life force. After he died, the powerful chakra that was constantly flowing through the trees started affecting the inhabitants, and over time giant animals were ruling over the forest. Anko Mitarashi is the only shinobi to repeatedly go into the forest of death. Ever since she was an academy student the forest had been her training ground that caught the eyes of the snake Sannin. After observing her repeated training sessions in the forest he took in as his apprentice. Something she regrets accepting to this day. Seeing that the genin arrive on time and that it was time to start she clears her throat. Okay, listen up. Your task is to enter this lovely training ground here, pausing for the extremely loud and terrifying howl that came from the forest, and survive for 5 days. Anko called out. The genin starts yelling, what do we do for food, how will we survive? What if we get injured? Anko glares at the genin. If you all can't take this forest for 5 days then you don't deserve to be here. Now you interrupted me, surviving isn't all you have to do. Each team will receive a scroll, one red and one blue. Your objective is to arrive at the tower which resides in the center, with both scrolls. Instructs Anko, maybe we should make these scrolls something more interesting, red and blue is boring. Oh well, there is always next time. This part of the exam you will be allowed to do anything you like. Killing is most definitely allowed. Anko grins sadistically at the pale faces. That's part of this life kiddies. I'm going to have a few chunin pass out some waivers. We have these so if and when some of you die, I nor my village can be held accountable. Keishi said the last part with an adorable wink, not fitting her sadistic personality from earlier. Naruto is starting to get nervous, Kakashi-sensei had them killed before, hell Naruto has done it a few times since the first time and would do it again if he had to, but he hated it. He hates ending someone's life, especially other shinobi, something about them fighting for the same reason he was being ordered to, both sides were ordered to fight each other, and when he killed someone who personally didn't want to fight but had been ordered to by his cage, that would eat at him forever. Luckily it has only been a fear, not something he has had to do. Yet. But this exam is starting to bring that fear to life. Everyone wants to be promoted and he doesn't want to kill someone's son or daughter just to move up in rank. Even if they were from Iwa and Kumo, unnecessarily killing is disgusting to Naruto, especially for self-benefit. Mika looks at her teammates, seeing their hesitation starts to make Mika even more nervous, they were the rookies, the fresh meat and easy targets. She knew Toshiro-kun was really strong for a genin, and Naruto-kun was even stronger, but everyone has more experience and more time to train than them. She would put her all into the test, but that didn't mean right now she wouldn't be terrified. She was definitely scared. Toshiro was scared, not for himself and not for Naruto, his rival, and dare he think it, best friend. No, he was scared for Mika, having grown up an orphan he didn't have a lot of people he cared about and his team was his family. Well in Naruto and Kakashi's case they were. He would be lying if he said he didn't have feelings for Mika, hours of one-on-one sparring alone, it was inevitable. He knew that she was weaker than himself and Naruto, and he knew that she knew as well, which would make her nervous and sloppy. He would make sure she got through this, even at the cost of his life. Naruto was watching his teammates, he wasn't stupid he knew they were growing closer to each other, something he bet with Kakashi, whether or not Toshiro would get the balls to ask her out. So he could see the nervousness and apprehension on their faces about entering the death forest and not wanting to let each other down. Deciding that saying something to both of them would help, hey, Naruto said lowly enough so only the two could hear, I know that we just became genin less than a year ago, but we have trained just as or even harder than all of them. We have gone on a bunch of missions, learned a lot of stuff, and have impressed sensei enough that he feels each of us could get a promotion. We may face strong opponents looking to kill us, but that didn't stop us on our missions. All we have to do is cover each other's back, stay focused, calm and I swear that we will not only survive but pass this test. Naruto surprised even himself with the amount of conviction he said those words with, he just went with it, chalking it up to his natural awesomeness. Both Mika and Toshiro were brought out of their apprehension to sign the waivers and got a fierce look of determination, nodding stiffly as they signed and turned them into the Team 7, okay thank you for signing the forms here is your scroll. Your gate will be number 17 good luck. One of them said, handing Naruto a red scroll. Now that everyone is done signing the waivers and at their designated starting point, Anko clears her throat, okay everyone. 5 days of hell starts. Now. An explosion could be heard signaling the start of the second test of the Chunin exams. Inside the forest. Kumo team. This test was already irritating Derry, having to trek through some god-forsaken forest with who knows what inside. See I want you to find the most average signature you can, not the weakest or strongest, just average. Derry's reasoning was that someone strong would hide their chakra signature, someone really strong would let that shit go at full blast like an invitation. Average signatures were shinobi who haven't learned or didn't need to suppress their chakra, which meant they weren't anything special. Reasoning not lost on C, he nods, there are 3 clusters of chakra that are average sized, closest is at out 4 o'clock 152 meters away heading north. Said C. Derry nods and looks to the third and most quiet of the 3, ready Samui. Giving a cold look before nodding, Samui was always ready, it would be uncool not to be. Lead the way C ordered Derry. Inside the forest. I would team. What I'm saying is that why not head to the tower and shit stomp anyone who shows up, it would be easier and less boring than looking around this place for a team with a 50% chance of having the scroll we need. Kitsuchi whined, she wants out of this forest, it doesn't sit well with her, and that blonde kid looked too familiar to brush off. Kitsuchi sometimes hated the Iwa princess, she was an impatient whiny brat. Would you be quiet Kitsuchi, I would rather us not be ambushed by every team here. His annoyance wasn't lost on his teammates. Kitsuchi hated to admit it, but Demitsuchi was much stronger than her, so she would listen to him. Now that you've shut up. We have guests. Demitsuchi said, turning and looking directly at a team from Kusa, making them flinch at being caught. Seeing that they were caught anyway, they charged in. Demitsuchi sighed, they aren't very smart huh? He muttered, leaning back from a kick, then shooting out and catching the leg before tossing his opponent into a tree, going through hand seals for the earth release. Earth Dragon Bullet. A dragon head made of mud sprouted from the ground, firing a barrage of mud bullets, knocking the Kusa ninja out. Akatsuchi caught the Kusa ninja's flying punch, tossing him away, coating his fist in earth chakra and charging him. He slams his fist into the Kusa nin's gut. Kusa nin's eyes widened in pain before passing out. Kitsuchi was embarrassed, she hoped the Kusa team had been following them and didn't find them because of her talking. Dodging Kunoichi's swing and stabbing her with a kunai in the leg, Kitsuchi chops the back of her neck. The neck chop was underrated in her opinion. Perfect, they have the red scroll we need. Demitsuchi said, holding up the scroll before giving Kitsuchi a pointed look. I hope you can keep quiet till we get to the tower, Kuro-chan Demitsuchi asked mockingly. Kitsuchi blushes in embarrassment, sorry. Hey. Don't call me that. Inside the forest. Naruto's team. These are the biggest trees I have ever seen, and living in Konoha that's saying something Naruto said, looking at the enormous trees that blocked out the sky. Toshiro grunted, stay focused, we need to get a scroll and get the hell out of here. I guess we found the one thing we always relied on sensei to do, we never do the tracking. Mika sighed, none of them were all that adept at tracking, something they would all address after the test. I suggest we get higher up to travel. Most would stay lower to mid-level on the trees so they would run right under us. Naruto said it wasn't his best plan, but it's a start. His teammates mirrored him and they jumped higher into the canopy. 3 hours later. Finally, all 3 of them thought they were off-putting seeing it was a team from their village, but they wouldn't discriminate. Under Naruto's team. Kabuto is bored. Orochimaru-sama wanted him to fail. Again. He hated this stupid test, they were always the same. Ibiki was new, so was the forest training ground, but same in the end. He always gets through the first 2 tests, then quits on a lack of chakra. Worse yet were his teammates, he hoped they died, no, he wanted them to die, so he could do some tests on them that way their pathetic lives will have served at least some purpose. Whenever you 3 are ready, I'm curious to see how strong you are Naruto-kun. Kabuto sensed Team 7 as soon as they got within 50 yards of them, they are well hidden for hopefuls, but he wasn't a Genin or Chunin level shinobi. I want Kabuto, he seemed the strongest. Naruto whispered to his teammates. Toshiro rolled his eyes, Naruto loved fighting the strongest opponents he could, he wouldn't stop him though, less work for him. Naruto weaved through seals when he was ready he disappeared in a burst of speed. Appearing right behind Kabuto's team with the Tiger Seal Earth release. Earth Flow River. Thought Naruto. Kakashi stressed that screaming or even mouthing the name of a jutsu is stupid, it gives your attack away. The enormous mudslide that came from Naruto's jutsu is a testament to Naruto's powerful chakra and control of the earth element. The Earth Flow River is a supplementary jutsu, that's more of a distraction or small hindrance. Naruto's however, could snap your ankles if you were careless and continued for a good 50 feet, he could harden it at will. It is an underrated jutsu in Naruto's opinion. Kabuto saw Naruto coming and recognized the jutsu, channeling chakra to his legs so as not to get injured, his teammates, not so smart. Screams of pain erupted from his team, Kabuto honestly hoped they would die, they were really a waste. If they lived, no, they wouldn't live Kabuto would make sure of it. Naruto is surprised that his jutsu worked so well, he wasn't about to look a gift horse in the mouth. Looking over to his, would he dare say, bored teammates who were watching him prepare himself for the fight he would have with Kabuto. Naruto is tense, Kabuto has skills. He is staying hidden underground expertly. Naruto narrows his eyes at that, an earth user who was adept with earth chakra, Naruto liked to think he was, could feel someone using earth chakra in close proximity, especially if you are currently standing over where that person is hiding. Kabuto, however, was completely hidden. That would mean he has mastered earth chakra to a level that someone his age that was still a genin shouldn't be able to. Let's get this over with. Kabuto sighed before rising out of the ground. Naruto repressed a flinch. Not only has he mastered earth, but to be within 20 feet and still be undetectable, he isn't what he seems. Thought Naruto, getting into his taijutsu stance and concentrated, slows his breathing he waits for. I surrender. Kabuto called out pathetically, making Toshiro and Mika face fault behind him. I stand no chance, I'm outmatched based on that jutsu you used and outnumbered. Here, just take this, it's a red scroll. Please don't hurt me. Pleads Kabuto. The old man needs to hear about this. Naruto thought seriously. Give me the scroll. Toshiro, Mika, we're leaving. Naruto says to his teammates. Dumping away the trio stayed quiet. Was that weird to either of you? Because it seemed weird to me. Toshiro said with a frown. Mika frowned for a different reason. I thought it was weird too, Toshiro-kun, but we should be worried about the test. We have 2 red scrolls now, but we need to find a blue scroll. Said Mika. Naruto was quiet. It was slightly unnerving to his teammates. The blonde, even in serious situations, would always be talking about the next step in the plan or what he wanted to eat for dinner or something. I can sense a fight, northwest. We can ambush after the fight and take both scrolls, less competition the better. Naruto wasn't asking for an opinion, he just switched directions and kept going. Something is bothering him. Mika and Toshiro both thought. The Megakure didn't send out teams very often, they promoted their own from inside and were very private. The teams sent to this year's exam were sent to kill as many Konoha ninja they could, odd, but orders were orders. They ambushed a Konoha team, killed one and injured another. The last one picked up his friend and left, swearing vengeance or something. Who really paid attention to that stuff? Naruto was watching the AIM team gather their gear. Okay, same deal. I'll take the middle, Toshiro, start us off please. Weaving through signs, water release. Water severing wave, aiming for the ninja on the left and clipping his shoulder, cutting all the way to the bone. Motherfucking ass shit, that hurt. The AIM nin howls. The other 2 jump into action, both tossing an umbrella into the air. Senbon rained out like their village's namesake. Naruto flips through the hand seals, taking a deep breath, wind release. Great breakthrough, blowing all the needles away as well as the umbrellas. Mika jumped into action, channeling fire chakra into her tanto. It made her tanto slice easier, although it was anything but clean, but it definitely got the job done. Fire chakra being channeled into a weapon wasn't that obvious or common. Wind was a blue glow, or whatever your chakra color is. Electricity would be sparking around the blade if it were lightning. Fire, however, only made the blade hotter, much hotter, but unless you were looking for it, you wouldn't know till it hit you. Not noticing the fire-enhanced blade, the AIM nin took out a kunai to block. The kunai stopped the attack, but the point of impact the blade started to melt. Noticing his mistake took his opponent more seriously. Taking out 2 more kunai, this time preparing to fight the fire-enhanced blade. Then he gets hit and knocked out from behind by his teammate. Sorry Mika, he flew further than I thought, but Toshiro said, not really caring that he ended the fight for both of them. Naruto was tying up the AIM team. Look at this. We got another red scroll and a blue one, let's rest up for the night and go to the tower tomorrow. Naruto called out to his team, both nodding in response. Toshiro looked over to Mika. How are you holding up, Mika-chan? Toshiro said slowly. She was surprised by the chan, but she liked it. I'm fine, I thought it would be much worse. Thanks for asking, Toshiro-kun. She said that last part lower and with a blush, something that made Toshiro force down a smirk. He would ask her out after the exams for sure, before someone else does. Inside the forest. I would team. Kitsuchi was getting annoyed. His sensei always told him to push down, but never repress his emotions. Sometimes they can help. Right now he was suppressing the need to kill Kitsuchi. She was so loud, annoying, and he hates her with everything most of the time. It surprises him how much hate he feels for her. He's not sure why exactly. Maybe because she has a family. Whatever, he didn't care enough to think about it. If we don't find this tower in the next 20 minutes, I'm going to burn this forest down. Kitsuchi said, in her usually complaining way, making Kitsuchi clench his fist. It would be easy, clap his hands. Bad thoughts, really easy but bad thoughts. Kitsuchi is as quiet as usual, not bothering to complain like Kitsuchi. She is covering that for him, but he was frowning on the inside for another reason. He noticed Kitsuchi's feelings towards her a long time ago, but he never said anything. Akatsuchi is curious what will happen if this continues the way it has been going. He honestly didn't like Demitsuchi. Prodigies like him never turn out nice, usually they go crazy or something, like the Uchiha and Deidara, both were prodigies, then started killing their comrades or families respectively. It was only a matter of time in his opinion. There is a tower, now please be quiet Kuretsuchi. Demitsuchi sighed, taking out both scrolls and jumping to the tower. All three I went in landed in front of the tower and pulled on the door, locked, looking at each other with a confused frown. They pushed the door, locked, then they heard a muffled voice. A few minutes later two disheveled opened the tower door, the male was smiling, "My bad you three go right in, sorry, I had to feed my cat." The female pinched her nose, "They better not report them." Kuretsuchi is blushing. It didn't take a genius to figure out what they were doing. Demitsuchi is trying not to laugh, he would have given them more time to finish had he known, bro code and all. Akatsuchi is, well Akatsuchi, he had a blank face and just walked in. Inside the forest. Team. Derry decided to set up camp for the night, they fought 3 teams and got 2 blue scrolls and a red one. C was holding up some fish. Samui, can you cook, not because you are a woman or anything. C said defensively after realizing he could sound sexist. Samui sighed, honestly, she loved to cook, it was her favorite hobby. But she didn't want them to know that though, one good meal, and she was the permanent cook. She was going to burn the fish. Looking at their designated team leader, he was sharpening that cleaver sword he was so fond of. Samui walks up to him. "Derry, how far have you come with those jutsu?" she asked, gesturing to the tattoo on his shoulder. It was a black kanji meaning water and lightning. He was the only person other than the 4th Reikage that had inherited the secrets to the black lightning. The 4th Reikage could use them, but decided to pass them on to someone who would use them more. "I have managed to make a black spark." He replied dully, "It is much harder than I thought it would be." Well, something that was invented by the 3rd Reikage and passed down to the 4th wouldn't be something everyone could do. She was reassuring him, not what she intended to do, but she'll go with the flow, it would be uncool to take back support. Raising an eyebrow at the support from the ice-cold Samui, "Well thanks, go rest up, first light. Or in 8 hours we head to the tower." He said, after remembering that no sun was coming through the enormous trees. Inside the forest. Naruto and company. It was a horrible night for Naruto, so much noise, this place smelt bad, and he was sure a root was trying to snake up his ass. Toshiro, anything these last 2 hours. Getting a shake of the head he woke Mika. After 4 minutes and 37 seconds they were ready to move. "We need to hurry to the tower, longer we are here the more frantic and aggressive the remaining teams will be," said Naruto. Toshiro honestly was surprised at how easily they got through the test so far, killing was allowed, most of the teams looked tough. Maybe it was luck but yeah, too easy. "Toshiro-kun, you okay?" Mika noticed he wasn't listening to Naruto or herself. "Do you need to take a break?" She was worried, this test was stressful, but they haven't been through anything too bad, so he shouldn't be this way out of it. No, I was just thinking that this test was too easy and it was surprising how simple we got through it," replied Toshiro. "Toshiro, Mika-chan, let's get going." Naruto wanted out of this forest, he saw a spider that was bigger than him, he didn't fuck with small spiders, let alone one that could eat him. Jumping towards the tower Naruto was honestly shocked, nobody tailing them, nothing. Seeing the tower in the distance he was waiting for the shit to hit the fan any minute now. Landing in front of the tower all three waited, sweat dropping at the arguing couple to notice them, it looked like they were about to kill each other. Nope, the guy slammed her against the wall and ripped her jacket off before locking lips with the kunoichi. Mika blushed, clearing her throat before they went too far, could you guys let us go in?" Mika called out with a beet red blush. "Damn it, Jenin, go on in. I need to feed my cat." The female slapped him on the arm before opening the door. The room was huge. And empty, nothing in it whatsoever except for another door. Looking around for any instructions. "What are we supposed to do?" the Jenin thought. The door behind them opened up and the male stuck his head through. There was a sign up, but someone blew it up, just opened each scroll. The male said, before closing the door again. The three sweat dropped again. It was like this was the first time they tried this sort of test. Naruto and Toshiro opened the 2 scrolls at the same time and Naruto raised his eyebrows. "Throw it down, it's a summon sign." Both of them tossed away the scroll before smoke exploded out. Kakashi in all his slouching, porn-reading glory popped out. 2 days, that's impressive for you three, but it is to be expected you are my students after all, we have a few days to come on, I'll show you where the rooms are," said Kakashi, gesturing to them to follow him. Chapter 6. Battle of the Tower. Continuation on the exams. Sunagakure no Sato. Jiraiya has been curious about the status of the Sand Village for a while now. He has informants everywhere, if a shinobi travels through a town or small village, he has a person with both eyes open looking for anything strange. The 5 great villages were different, they had precautions for spies. So he had to look around himself. I've got so much sand up my ass. Jiraiya is tired of this place already. Jiraiya-sama, the Kazekage would like to see you now. A sand chunin said as he appeared right next to the Sannin. Jiraiya pretended that the random person asked him instead of ordering. But an international incident wasn't what Konoha needed right now. Kazekage's office. The 4th Kazekage Rasa, he is a holder of the magnet release Kekkei Genkai. He uses gold dust to bind and crush his opponents. Rasa got the idea from the 3rd Kazekage, who also held the same Kekkei Genkai, but the 3rd's iron sand was vastly superior to his gold dust. Rasa ascended to Kage seat in his late 20s during the war after the disappearance of his predecessor. Rasa wants to keep his village strong and safe. The daimyo is starting to lose faith since Gaara isn't turning out to be as good a weapon as he wanted. He needed to deal with Gaara, but first he had a visitor. Rasa didn't like the Toad Sannin, no, he despised the man. Always barging into his village doing whatever he wanted, his desert serpents, would never find Jiraiya snooping, but he knew that the sage was. Welcome to my village Jiraiya Dono, is there something that you are looking for? He wanted to tell the sage to fuck off or he would kill him. Rasa wasn't stupid enough to say that though, the fight would be too risky and destructive. I have heard some things that I think you should be aware of. The Toad Sannin was serious, maybe Rasa should hear him out, gesturing for him to continue. Some of my informants Rasa would sweep this entire village. When the Sannin leaves have informed me that my former teammate has been pulling together missing nin and recruiting people to join him. My informants told me that he would be coming here to see you. Anything you can tell me about him? Jiraiya wasn't interested in playing games with this fool of a Kage, he wanted to know now. Rasa was trying to contain his rage, really trying. What makes you think you can demand anything of me? He tried. Raising an eyebrow at that response, Jiraiya just took a breath. I'm not demanding anything, I want to know if he came here, I want to know if you have talked to him, I want to kill him. Jiraiya hated this man, turning his child into a Jinchuriki before he was even born, killing his wife. Now he was hearing rumors of him trying to kill his son. War really wasn't something Konoha needed, but killing Rasa would make Jiraiya happy. Rasa is quiet and frowning. He hasn't been here, I would have killed the snake the second he stepped foot in my village. Answered Rasa, he will contact the snake after this conversation. Jiraiya was onto him. The snake had too good an offer to pass up when he came a few weeks ago, but Rasa gave a maybe. He needed to start training Gaara, so he would attend the next Konoha exam. Jiraiya is quiet, he sincerely doubted the Kazekage would be able to kill Orochimaru. Well, there is something else I'm here for. I was given a scroll by the Hokage to pass on to you while I am here. Jiraiya said this was actually the only reason he felt comfortable coming here, well openly at least. Rasa looked over the scroll as it was routine border stuff for the alliance with Konoha. The copy ninja came here last time, he wasn't so aggravating to deal with. Next time the copy ninja and his team will suffice, no need to waste the time of a Sannin for messages. Said Rasa. Jiraiya raised an eyebrow in general confusion. Kakashi had a team? Really, who was on Kakashi's team if you don't mind me asking? Jiraiya asked. Anyone Kakashi deemed worthy of training would be worth knowing about. It was a genin team, I didn't see 2 of them, but my son was. Introducing himself to one, I believe his name was Naruto. Blonde hair, looks younger than average. Answered Rasa. Jiraiya didn't let his shock and anger show, the old man didn't tell him, he didn't know that his godson was a ninja already. He was going home after this meeting. Thank you for your time, Kazekage Dono. Jiraiya said, not waiting for a dismissal, he just left. I will enjoy crushing him to slush in my gold dust. Rasa thought with fury at such disrespect. Sunagakure. Forest of Death Tower. Kakashi rubbed his chin and thought. That is indeed troubling, but why would he hold himself back twice, 3 times now? Asked Kakashi out loud. It was indeed strange, Kakashi would notify Hokage-sama, this Kabuto wasn't what he seemed. Kakashi prided himself in his student's abilities, to completely hide from Naruto at that range was something he could do, but a genin who failed the Chunin exams multiple times, no, Kabuto made a slip in his cover and didn't expect Naruto to catch it. Good, I was worried that I am starting to become too paranoid, suspecting a comrade and all. Naruto said relieved, he didn't want to think a comrade was a traitor, but if there was a lead he would follow it. Kakashi let out a chuckle. There isn't such a thing as too paranoid in our line of work, Naruto-kun. Now get cleaned up, we have a couple days of rest before the finals. Naruto nodded and ran off, he wanted to take a shower. He smelt like shit. 3 days later. Forest Tower. Arena room. Hiruzen looked over the genin, 12 of them. 2 teams were from countries that Konoha wasn't friendly with, if they made it to the finals, he would have to deal with Itsukage and Reikage. A preliminary round could help eliminate 1 Kage from attending, hopefully. A third clears his throat, making all the shinobi turn to him. Congratulations, passing the Chunin exams is no easy matter. However, these exams serve a couple purposes, I won't bore you with all of them. The main one is that the exams are a substitution for war. Pausing to let that sink in. These exams were made to improve international relations with the Great Five Nations. But that being said, the daimyo's time isn't to be wasted, so a preliminary will be held to keep the finals short and with the best of the best, said the third. The genin really have a problem with that, shouts of outrage are heard. The Hokage was patient to an extent, but a bunch of genin that weren't from his village, disrespecting him like this. No, he would stop that shit. Most genin don't know what a truly strong presence felt like. The Hokage flared his chakra and made his presence known. A small flare was nothing too much in his opinion, but it was enough, the stone under him cracked, and the room became very thick with the presence of pure power. All the genin were scared, and the jonin were reminded who exactly Hiruzen Sarutobi was before he was the kind and gentle Hokage. It was terrifying to know that even in his 60s, the Hokage could kill all of them without much effort. The third's face never changed, while everyone tried to get their heart rate down. He just lit his pipe, now that you all have calmed down we can begin, Gai-kun the floor is all yours, said Hiruzen. Yosh. My youthful genin please turn your youthful attention to the monitor behind me. Names cycle youthfully and the two calls will fight. No rules, but when your opponent is incapacitated or too injured to fight I will end it. The last part was said to be more serious than anyone thought Guy was capable of being. The monitor started to cycle through names, Toshiro of Konoha and C of Kumo were the first names. Thank Kami I'm first. Toshiro wanted to get this over with, but the Kumo team looked strong, so this was exciting. All the genin and jonin instructors went to the second floor to observe. The Hokage's interest was piqued, Konoha had two teams, Kakashi's team and Iwashi Tatami. Iwashi was one of the 4th Hokage's elite guards, his team wasn't anything extraordinary, this was their third exam, and they were going to fields that didn't focus on combat. Kakashi's team however is very special, Mikiyazuki was on the same road her sister Yugao was at her age, and Yugao is one of the Hokage's most trusted Anbu. Toshiro is a Kenjutsu prodigy from what he's heard from Yugao and Kakashi, with skill in water manipulation. Naruto, well Naruto was the first shinobi that Hiruzen saw himself in. Naruto, Mika and Kakashi were standing by themselves looking at Toshiro. I hope Toshiro-kun does okay, those Kumo guys look tough. Mika said nervously, honestly she thought the Iwa and Kumo teams looked really strong and was nervous to fight them. Derry was eyeing Toshiro hard, C wasn't the strongest, but he was getting a vibe from Toshiro that comes with strength. Samui, this team is the one with Naruto, they all look strong, if you fight one of them be on your guard, especially against Naruto. Derry whispered to his teammate. B, their sensei, would agree if he were here, but he wasn't allowed to leave the village by order of the Raikage, and if Derry was honest, he was glad B wasn't here. Didn't need to take a hit reputation-wise if B started being himself in front of foreign shinobi. It's an S-rank secret in Kumo that nobody can talk about B's rapping. Samui nods with narrowed eyes, Naruto, his chakra, even though I'm not a sensor, I could feel how strong it was. My lovely little friends, are you both ready to exchange your youthful passions of fiery youth? Guy asked youthfully. Everyone got a little suspicious of Guy's sexual orientation after that comment. It was weird even for him. Both nodded, begin. Toshiro didn't move, Kumo produced lots of skilled shinobi, so he wouldn't charge in blind. C frowned on the inside, this guy didn't want to attack first. That's fine by him. Rolling through seals, lightning release. Lightning quake flash, lightning crackled onto C's hands and he shot them off at Toshiro. Toshiro unsheathed his katana as soon as lightning cracked, Kakashi and Naruto have been shooting jutsu at him quite a lot, so he could learn to deflect and block jutsu. He is the best at blocking lightning. As soon as the lightning got close he channeled chakra into his katana. If Toshiro had wind chakra, the lightning would stop as soon as it hit the blade, but regular chakra would redirect it. Using that redirection to his benefit he aimed it towards the ground making dust fly up obscuring him from vision. C knows where the guy is, sensing is his greatest tool, Toshiro never left the dust cloud. A stream of pressurized water shot out of the dust with frightening accuracy, jumping away while taking a slice to the right thigh. When C landed, shuriken were flying at him with blurring speed, ducking under the shuriken and taking out a kunai to respond. As soon as C lifted his head from a crouch, Toshiro had his katana on his neck. C is ashamed, sensing is what he's best at and he lost his opponent. Woo. Oh yeah. That's my teammate. The soggy swordsman. Naruto shouted, he's an amazing cheerleader. Toshiro gained a tick mark on his forehead, don't call me that. Mika giggled at her teammate's antics, while Kakashi had his trademark eye smile. What a most youthful and wonderful fight. My eternal rival youthful student Toshiro-kun wins. Guy exclaimed with a nice guy pose. As the two genin walked off the monitor started flashing through names. Demitsuchi of Iwa vs Tozan of Konoha. Demitsuchi frowned, he wanted the blonde kid who resembled the yellow Flash. Jumping down to the first floor and not bothering with a stance, just saying here was ready. Tozan got into a rudimentary taijutsu stance, he was accepted for an apprenticeship in the department, so one-on-one he wasn't the best, but he is good. Guy didn't bother with the youthful exclamations, just yelling began. Demitsuchi didn't want to reveal anything, so he did what was best, stood still and watched his opponent. Tozan threw kunai at Demitsuchi to get him to move. Demitsuchi let out a sigh, this guy wanted to make him move, it would be rude to disappoint. Demitsuchi pushed chakra to his legs and disappeared inches before the kunai could hit, reappearing behind Tozan with a snake seal. Wind release. Divine gust. Tozan wasn't remotely fast enough to see Demitsuchi coming to counter. Getting hit by a gust of wind so strong he couldn't even tell that he was about to hit the concrete wall, Guy appeared and caught the genin before he could. Guy has a frown on his face, for once the Iwa genin was really fast, his jutsu was really powerful, he had no hesitation, and his face never even changed once. Iwa had a gem with this one. Declaring Demitsuchi the winner and setting down Tozan so he could go to the viewing area. While the monitor flashed through names, the teams talked about what they saw. Derry's eyes narrowed. That guy is fast, he will be trouble to deal with. Samui and C were frowning as well. Naruto thought over the fight, that jutsu has an affinity for wind. Kakashi is looking impassively at the Iwa genin, he was good, but Naruto could beat him. You're such a show-off. Kuretsuchi shouted, hating how smug Demitsuchi is, just walking up to fight without a word then walking off. Demitsuchi's eyes narrowed. What did I do wrong now? Iwa princess, win the fight, use chakra. Just stay focused on your fight. Demitsuchi said, pointing at the monitor. It reads Kuretsuchi of Iwa vs Mikiyazuki of Konoha. Would the lovely little ladies please come down? Guy called out to the Kunoichis. Mika froze when she saw her name, she felt someone's hand on her shoulder. Don't worry, I know you can do it. Her sensei was smiling and for once didn't scare her when he said something suddenly, she nodded and was about to jump off. Good luck Mika-chan. Toshiro called to her. Naruto was cheering loudly, making her opponent frown and causing Mika to blush in embarrassment. Would you tell that twerp to shut up? Kuretsuchi sneered, she already hated the blonde, he is loud and annoying. Both of them got into a stance and Gate called out for them to start. Kuretsuchi pulled out the tiger sign, fire release. Burning wave. The fire jutsu exploded out covering a wide radius and Mika jumped back avoiding the flames. Kuretsuchi wanted her to jump back, most of her jutsu are better if she wasn't close to them. Mika pulled out a handful of shuriken, when the fire died down, she tossed them and blew through seals. Shuriken Shadow Clone Jutsu, over 200 shuriken came flying at Kuretsuchi. Kuretsuchi didn't have the space or time to move, so she slammed her palms on the floor and tried to raise a pillar for some kind of shield. She is hit by 7 shuriken on her left side from the pillar, since the pillar isn't very large. I'm going to kill you. You bitch. Kuretsuchi was pissed that she never got hit that easily. Going through a dozen seals with practiced ease, her chakra flared and Kuretsuchi's cheeks puffed up, lava release. Melting jutsu. The blanket of lava came from her mouth, but she wasn't done, escape will be impossible, going through more seals, earth release. Sticky surge, it's a low-ranked earth jutsu, it only made walking difficult. Perfect for when you are terrified of a blanket of lava coming down on you. Toshiro and Naruto had to be physically restrained from killing the Iwa Kunoichi, Kakashi was restraining them, well a shadow clone of Kakashi was. Mika didn't see a way out and walking isn't something that is easy for her right now, for some reason. Her left side was burned from the lava being too close. She is going to die, she wants to cry, but the tears won't flow down. Water exploded around Mika and she suddenly found herself on the other side of the room in her sensei's arms, she would blush about that later. What's the big idea? My combination wasn't done. Kuretsuchi whined, she already hates this village, but to interrupt her that's just annoying. She lost the match. Kuretsuchi-san, don't presume to think that we will let her die in a preliminary match of her first exam if we can help it. The Hokage said suddenly, nobody saw the Hokage move, he was just there and started talking. Hiruzen frowned at the lava, it's a pain to deal with. He would need to channel water, then flatten it with earth at the same time, but he has done it before on the second Shinobi War battlefield, on a whim. Demitsuchi appeared in front of Kuretsuchi, bowing faster than most of the genin could see. Please forgive my foolish teammate, she doesn't have manners or sense. Demitsuchi apologized, he really didn't want to be on Kami no Shinobi's bad side. What are you doing? She was interrupted and brought to her knees, clutching her throat trying to breathe. Demitsuchi has had enough, sending out most of his pressure and Kai to let her know who was in charge. Everyone in the room was startled at the scene, Demitsuchi's presence was enough to bring the girl to her knees. Hell, everyone could feel it, and Demitsuchi just showed his power, and it wasn't reassuring to some of the other genin of their chances to beat the Iwa genin. This guy is dangerous, he can suffocate this girl so easily, I really don't want Toshiro to fight him, I need to handle him. Naruto thought he didn't like to think his teammates were weak, but that Iwa genin pulled out a presence as strong as his own, maybe even stronger, and he knew Toshiro couldn't beat him. Derry is seriously upset, Demitsuchi, this guy, he's strong and dangerous. He doesn't hesitate, I should tell Samui to surrender if she has to face him, she can't handle that kind of opponent. Demitsuchi is boring Kuretsuchi with his eyes, he really wanted to kill her. He felt a hand on his shoulder, let it go, you can't kill her, or Tsuchikage-sama will kill you. Akatsuchi whispered to Demitsuchi, he knew what Demitsuchi was thinking, and it couldn't happen or else they would both die when they got home. The pressure on Kuretsuchi nodded her head vigorously, sorry Demotsuchi, I apologize to Hokage-sama for my disrespect. Kuretsuchi said, bowing before she walked back to Akatsuchi. Demitsuchi never did that to her, she knew he was stronger than her, but never did she think that he would do that to her. Demitsuchi watched her walk off before bowing again to the Hokage. I apologize again to my teammate. This wasn't why we wanted to come to the exams, Tsuchikage-sama wants there to be more positive interaction between our villages, not some hothead causing a war over her ego. The third Hokage is shocked that a genin could be this diplomatic. Most were hothead teenagers, this kid must have been trained by a high-ranking shinobi. Basing that assumption on his appearance, those bandages stuck out to the third. After all, dust release was a volatile technique. Yes, this kid would be interesting in the future if his assumptions are correct. After cleaning up the arena, the monitors started to go through names. Samui of Kumo vs Hakuto of Konoha. Hakuto is a medic, not a bad one either. Samui, however, is sizing up her opponent and saw that non-combat types was a shared trait among the older Konoha team. Samui didn't want to draw attention to herself, so Genjutsu was her plan for this match. I didn't want to keep this any longer, he wanted to get everyone's mind off the last match. So with a quick call to begin, the two were off. Samui flashed a seal while she went to her Tanto. It's a low-level Genjutsu that slows the opponent's reaction time slightly. You would need a keen eye to catch it, but most wouldn't be affected by slightly slower reactions. Hakuto slashed out with a kunai, Samui parried with her Tanto, and sent out a quick kick to Hakuto's stomach. He rolled back from the force of the kick, Samui charged in fast, hoping to finish without too much trouble. Hakuto felt sluggish after the kick, realizing that it wasn't natural. She broke the Samui charging dispersed into lightning, and she felt a chop to the neck. Samui weaved the first Genjutsu immediately when reaching for the Tanto, after the kick she weaved the other one. It was mostly a distraction so she could get behind her. Naruto is getting anxious, all those fights and he still hasn't gone yet. He is crossing his fingers watching the names cycle, there were only 4 of them left. Finally. Naruto yelled, he finally got his chance. He is up against Akatsuchi, the last of the Iwa team. It's weird that all of their names ended in, but he wouldn't judge too much, his name could mean fish cake after all. Naruto is looking at Akatsuchi, he obviously relied on strength instead of speed. You know, it was bad enough that I had to wait this long. But to get the tallest person here, it's kind of embarrassing. Naruto commented, Akatsuchi was almost 6 feet tall, and Naruto hadn't even broken 5 feet yet, he was only 10 after all. Now shall we let this youthful match of passionate fires begin? Guy yelled youthfully, the sweat drops everyone had could almost be heard. Naruto got into his stance, he wouldn't use his staff, keeping most of his skills hidden would be for the best. Akatsuchi is just waiting for Naruto to move, seeing that he wouldn't, Akatsuchi punches the ground covering his fist in a rock. Naruto tensed, that would be a one-hit knockout, he would go with lightning and water. Naruto tossed a kunai doing 2-hand seals, and 2 kunai turned into 50. Akatsuchi erected an earth wall blocking the kunai only for a small beam of lightning to pierce his shoulder. Naruto wanted the kunai to be blocked since they were only a distraction. Hoping that the blind shot was successful, Naruto made a shadow clone to charge in, Akatsuchi started to attack the blonde with wide, powerful and inaccurate swings. The clone was only meant to take attention away for a second so the real one could build chakra. Water release. Jet stream, a powerful stream of water that was about to slam into Akatsuchi, the clone jumped back and did 2-hand seals. Akatsuchi was surprised at the powerful water slamming into him, only to be electrocuted again and knocked out. The winner is the youthful Naruto-kun. Guy exclaimed, he went to check on the Iwa genin, who was fine, unconscious but fine. At least one of the genin knows restraint. The last 2 genin came down, Derry of Kumo and Ruko of Konoha. Ruko is ready, he is the strongest of his team, he also wanted there to be at least 1 genin from his team in the finals. Derry liked the idea of a water electrocution, he would show off a little, but it would be quick. I wants this prelim to be over so he could go work out. Yosh, this is the last of the youthful preliminary matches. Begin. Derry leaned back from the high kick his opponent shot at him. Shooting out with a strong punch knocking Ruko back, flashing through Seal's water release. Water wall, it was meant to be defensive, but only partially shaping the jutsu could make a huge wave of water. Going through 3 more Seals, lightning release. Quake flash, lightning flowed from his hands as he spat out massive amounts of water. To use 2 elements at once was one of the hardest forms of manipulation there is. You need to have very high mastery of both elements or a Kekkei Genkai. It was what the third Hokage was known for and was one of the many things that contributed to the third's title of Kami no Shinobi. The Hokage and Kakashi thought it was the latter. Mastery of 2 elements to that extent was very unlikely at his age, it had to be a Kekkei Genkai. Ruko didn't have anything to deal with the tidal wave of water that was sparking with electricity, it was surprisingly less painful than he was expecting. Guy walked over to the Konoha Genin and checked him, pulse was there, he was unconscious, good. The Hokage, Chunin and Jonin that were assisting with the exams all appeared on the arena floor. That concludes the youthful preliminary matches and the victors all come down. Announced Guy. One after another, the Genin walked out on the arena floor. Now my youthful friends, you will pick a number and that will be the matchups for the finals. Banko walked around with a bowl that had slips of paper with numbers on them. After everyone had paper she took out a clipboard, call out your number in order please. Naruto, 1. Kuritsuchi, 2. Derry, 3. Toshiro, 4. Samui, 5. Emitsuchi, I got 6. After writing everything down she looked up, the order is as follows. Naruto vs Kuritsuchi, Derry vs Toshiro, and Demitsuchi vs Samui. The winner of the 3rd round gets a free slot to the finals. Said Anko. The Hokage stepped up, you will have 1 month to prepare for the finals, please use them wisely. Those of you who are from a foreign village will be shown to a training ground and hotel that you can use. Said the 3rd. Kakashi put his hands on Toshiro and Naruto's shoulders. Well, how about we all get some food? Barbecue shop. Kakashi decided to take his team to eat somewhere other than Ichiraku Ramen. Much to Naruto's sadness. Kakashi is also thinking about the competition, Iwa and Kumo didn't send their B teams. The finals are going to be much bigger than they usually are. The Reikage and Tsuchikage will be coming and Demitsuchi and Derry are probably the stars of their village. We have a month to prepare you too. Kakashi was watching Toshiro and Naruto's faces scrunch up and thought while Mika was putting meat on the grill. Naruto is trying to figure out who is the biggest threat he needs to prepare for. Demitsuchi was strong, but the others didn't show everything they were capable of. Sensei, how much access do we have to the shinobi library? Asked Naruto. Kakashi isn't that surprised at Naruto's line of thought, the library had everything that one would need in their shinobi career. But genin weren't allowed that much access. You can use the 1st floor, it contains low-ranked chakra theory and control techniques. Kakashi said, he didn't say that he could just get jutsu for his team that he thought would help them. Naruto's head dropped in thought while Toshiro looked at his sensei with a frown. My opponent has a strong affinity with water and lightning. Could you show me some wind techniques? Asked Toshiro. Kakashi thought that he should tell Toshiro his thoughts on Derry. I have been thinking about Derry. To be able to use 2 elements like that, one would need mastery of both elements. Said Kakashi. Naruto and Toshiro already knew that, so they just kept looking at their sensei. And more likely, he possesses a Kekkei Genkai. The storm release comes to mind. Said Kakashi. Toshiro has a real frown now, Kekkei Genkai were very hard to deal with. He never heard of the storm release Kekkei Genkai, but he was sure he would hate fighting it. Seeing as how you look like you don't know. The storm release combines the water and lightning elements, most that I know is that it makes concentrated beams of energy. Kakashi fought in the 3rd war, but he fought mostly against Iwa and Suna. Not to mention the storm release isn't a widely known Kekkei Genkai, it hasn't been seen since the 2nd war. Naruto, you have to deal with the lava release, so I would focus on lightning and water for the time being, I can help with both of those. Kakashi said he is a lightning type, but he had a plethora of techniques for each element. We will start training tomorrow at 8 o'clock. I'll be there on time. Kakashi had to be there on time. He only had a month to prepare for them and wanted to be sure they at least won the 1st match. The Wagakure no Sato. Tsuchikage's office. Inoki just received word from Konoha that 2 out of 3 of his genin would be in the finals and he was invited to attend. Inoki would have come regardless, even if only one of them passed, but being invited would make it easier. Kitsuchi. Get ready, we're going to the finals in a month. Inoki didn't need a bodyguard, but he is expected to have one in his position. Plus his son would really want to see his daughter Kuritsuchi in the finals. Kumagakure no Sato. Reikage's office. B. O was really annoyed, his brother's rapping never stopped, ever. A was trying to read the message from B's team, apparently only 2 passed. A only really cared that Derry passed, he was his strongest genin after all. And? I can't even rap badly so yeah. My eyes can see, and I believe that the mighty killer B's team has passed. A didn't think that B knew how to talk normally anymore, but he was family so there was nothing he could do. B got serious and looked at B, we will be going to the finals, Derry and Samui passed on to the finals. Said A. That's good to hear, I was starting to fear that my team wasn't in the clear. Rap B, a just sighed. Sunagakure no Sato. Hokage's office. Hiruzen is reading standard reports about the border, reaching the end, and seeing that it was routine he signed it. Moving the paper over to the done stack he took out his pipe, packing it and lighting it with fire chakra. He looks at the wall with a sigh, you know Jiraiya, you don't have to hide. The third new Jiraiya was there the minute he arrived. Jiraiya blurred into existence with a frown and narrowed eyes, I forgot to tell him about Naruto. You never told me Naruto graduated from old man. Why? Jiraiya asked seriously, he wanted to be kept in the loop of Naruto's life. Recently though, he has been very busy with the snake and this business in Tano Kuni. But he should have been notified at least. Jiraiya, I genuinely forgot to mention it. However you came at a very good time, he is in the finals for the Chunin exams. Kumo sent a storm release user, probably the first one in decades. Even more troublesome is Iwa. Someone other than Inoki might have the dust release and he is in the finals as well. Hiruzen said he has faith in Kakashi's training, normally, but Konoha needed to win this exam, it was too high profile not to. The third's face became as hard as stone, the Raikage and Tsuchikage are going to attend, and when they see Naruto. Jiraiya knew the implications, when they lay eyes on Naruto they will know who he really is. Jiraiya started nodding, he knew that Naruto could be in danger when he is revealed to be Minato's son publicly. Where is his sensei? I will take over his training and tell me about his skills. The third nodded and let out a puff of smoke. Next morning. Naruto's apartment. Naruto is looking through all the scrolls he has in his possession, elemental manipulation, chakra control, advanced chakra control theory and medical theory of the application of Tenketsu. Naruto had an idea involving Tenketsu, it would be amazing if he could figure it out. It's his secret project. Naruto was getting dressed when someone knocked on his door. Who would want to come by in the morning this early? Naruto opened the door to be greeted by his most precious person, Jiji. What are you doing here so early? Naruto said, happily leading the old Hokage into his apartment. Tucking at the bright blonde, well a couple things actually. First and most importantly is the exams. The Raikage and Tsuchikage will be here and they will recognize you immediately. Naruto frowned at that, he wanted everyone to know where he came from, but his parents had a lot of enemies he wasn't ready to deal with. But that being said, you will be presented as Naruto Namikaze. Naruto smiled at that, he loved that he could share that with his father. However, Jiji, I don't want to take the Namikaze name. Naruto said, Hiruzen couldn't hold the surprise, he didn't expect that. I don't mind if people know but everyone already knows and praises my father. I don't want my mother and the Uzumaki clan to be forgotten. Naruto's words had truth to them, most don't remember the Uzumaki clan, even fewer remember Kushina. It was a shame after all that she sacrificed her life for the village. Nodding to the blonde with a smile, I can accept that, I find myself puzzled that Kushina Uzumaki could be forgotten so easily, I for one could never forget her. Hiruzen remembered too many of the terrifying things that Kushina did to forget. But that isn't all, I came here for Naruto-kun, someone wants to train you. He was your father's sensei and my student, Jiraiya. Naruto's eyes widened at that and Sanin wanted to train him. But wants to train me? Wait, why? Naruto asked, Hiruzen frowned at that, he hoped that Naruto would understand. He is also your godfather. Hiruzen just said, beating around the bush would be pointless. Naruto froze, he had a godfather, he had a family. Well, why the hell couldn't he visit me? I mean, I was alone for so long, the only person who would talk to me was you. Now you're telling me I had a family. Naruto shouted angrily. The outrage wasn't unexpected, I'm sorry Naruto-kun, but he had to protect the village from the outside and bringing a child with him would be too dangerous. Plus visiting you every 6 or so months would be a terrible thing to do to a small child, you would always be waiting for and lonely. Placated Hiruzen. Naruto couldn't fight that logic, if he were in that position that is what he would have done anyway. The third Hokage took out a scroll. Here are some to help you out. I hope you win the Naruto-kun final. The third vanished before Naruto's eyes. 2 hours later. Naruto is on his way to training ground 7. He is passing the hot springs. It isn't the fastest route, but Naruto likes to take his time to arrive at training grounds. Kakashi is always late anyway. Giggling isn't something a voice that deep should do, looking up Naruto was graced with the sight of a white mane of spiky hair. The man was leaning over the wall to the hot springs. Hey, shouldn't you go into the trees if you want to spy on the ladies? That's the best spot for me anyway. Naruto called out, he needed to get a look at the female body to develop his new favorite jutsu after all. The giggling stopped and the man turned around, the man's eyes were wide. He was tall, really tall, over 6 feet, he has wooden Jetta shoes, and he has mesh armor under his olive green pants and shirt. He wears a red haori and a scroll on his back. You researched too, the old man sounded strangely happy. Naruto nodded, yeah, it was needed to get a good look at a naked lady to finish what I was making. Hugs weren't something Jiraiya did often, crying even less so. But Jiraiya picked up Naruto and hugged him while crying, thank you. You like to research, we will get along just great. My name is, dropping Naruto and biting his thumb to summon a toad. I am the great and gallant Jiraiya, the hermit of Mount Myaboku. Naruto liked the entrance, the guy had style. That's an awesome cool entrance with you, toad. Wait. Jiraiya. As in my father's sensei. Gigi said you wanted to train me for the finals. Jiraiya dismissed the toad, no. I want to take you as my apprentice. These times were going to get worse, and the finals will paint a huge target on Naruto. He needed to make sure the last of his family was ready to deal with anything. Naruto had a grin that might split his face in half. Amazing, Jiraiya Shisho. I accept, but what about my team? Jiraiya had to fight back a tear. Minato didn't even call him master. Just call me sensei, and you will still be on your team, but I will take you on missions every now and then. Naruto nodded at that, my team is meeting in a few minutes, I need to tell them. Where do I meet you? Training ground 7. Who wants to train you? That's crazy, Naruto, what would make him want to train a genin? Toshiro asked, he was happy for his friend, but it didn't make sense. Actually it makes sense to me. Mika now had her team's attention. Naruto looked so much like the fourth, maybe Jiraiya-sama. I don't know. She thought she had a point, but then nothing. Naruto looks at his team, Kakashi is paying attention, but is also reading. Toshiro and Mika were looking at him. Actually, I know why he is training me. I should tell you both, actually, I have been meaning to for a while now. Kakashi closed his book, if Naruto intended to tell either or both secrets he would need to help him. I have some secrets I want you both to know. First and the most scary thing is that the Kyuubi is sealed inside me. Naruto tried to look at them, but he couldn't raise his head from the ground. Mika and Toshiro were shocked. Wait, I thought the Kyuubi was killed by the fourth, said Mika. Kakashi decided to insert himself then. That was a cover-up, the Kyuubi is a massive chakra, it can't be killed permanently, only temporarily. Meaning that it would reform in a couple years, causing another tragedy. Kakashi said, making sure they understood the point that it was a necessary evil. Mika rushed Naruto and grabbed him in a hug, I'm sorry you had to deal with that on your own. She wanted to tell him that she was there if he needed anything, but he knew that. Toshiro just patted his shoulder with a smile. Kakashi is proud of his team, they didn't only see Naruto's burden. That is better than most of the villagers. Naruto just melted into Mika's hug, happy that his family accepted him. Naruto broke the embrace and cleared his throat. That isn't why Jiraiya-sensei wants to train me though. He wants to train me because he trained my father. Mika and Toshiro were surprised that Naruto knew who his dad was. Wait. The fourth is your father? Mika and Toshiro yelled at the same time with matching looks of shock. Naruto nodded with a smile, yes, but please keep it a secret until the exams. Both were in a daze but nodded. Well, I'll see you guys in a month, Jiraiya-sensei is taking me outside the village for the month to train. Waving goodbye to his team before flickering to the main gate. Jiraiya's training ground. Jiraiya takes Naruto to a training ground that he used to use a lot in his youth. It was an open field surrounded by trees with a waterfall and a lake. Naruto though it was peaceful. Jiraiya is thinking on how he should start, Taijutsu was obvious, ninjutsu was a must and well, Naruto was on his own with that. Okay Naruto, I talked to sensei, I will help you out with Taijutsu. Your father's style will work for your body type. Ninjutsu wise I can help you with earth and fire, those are the elements I use. Also I have another thing we will be doing today. Taking out the scroll that was on his back and opening it. How would you like to sign the Toad contract? Asked Jiraiya. It wasn't even a question, the kid gushed over his summon yesterday, he obviously wanted to. Naruto practically teleported in front of him. Okay, write your name in blood, then leave a fingerprint of each finger in blood. Naruto did just that and looked at Jiraiya expectantly. Jiraiya went over the seals with Naruto for a few minutes, and when he was confident Naruto had it he told him to try. Naruto bit his thumb and went through the hand seals before putting as much chakra as he thought he physically could. Naruto had a lot of chakra and his control was pretty good. After slamming his hand down, a massive poof of smoke erupted. A toad with a sasamada on his back and a hat that looked like it was made of metal emerged. Jiraiya-sama, did you call me? The enormous toad asked. Naruto was shocked to suddenly be so high up, no Toad-sen, I did. I put as much chakra as I could into it. Gamaken looked up to see a small blonde. Gamaken nodded his head. It's an honor to meet our new summoner, my name is Gamaken, and although I am ungraceful you can call on me to assist you when you need me. I will let Gamabunta know we have a new summoner, what is your name by the way? Asked Gamaken. Naruto is excited that such a powerful looking toad would help him so willingly. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. My father was a summoner as well, Minato Namikaze. Naruto said proudly. Gamaken was shocked to hear Minato-sama had a son. Well Naruto-sama, summon us whenever you need to. Gamaken popped into smoke leaving the training ground. Naruto fell down to the ground where Jiraiya was waiting. I must admit that I didn't think you could do that without Kyuubi, but good job. Congratulations Jiraiya. Naruto frowned, Jiraiya-sensei, I don't want to over-rely on Kyuubi. I will use it but not exclusively. Naruto said he didn't want to use it, but Jiraiya said the seal was made to utilize the Kyuubi and he wouldn't let a powerful tool go to waste. Well the finals are in a month and we have work to do, let's get started my student. Chapter 7. Chunin Exam Finals. Day of the finals. Mika was bored. For the past month her team has been training for the finals to the Chunin exams. She visited Toshiro and Kakashi-sensei, but they were really busy and she didn't want to disturb them. All wasn't bad though, she went on a few missions with another team, they lost a member and she filled the slot. They graduated the same year as her team, but from a different class. Genma Shiranui was the Jonin sensei, a laid-back guy very talented with senbon. Humaku Akimichi, just like the other Akimichi he really liked to eat but could hold his own against the best in Taijutsu. Then there was her new friend Kurana Yuhi, she is the only other person besides Naruto that she knew has an interest in Genjutsu. Over the past month Mika and Kurenai became good friends. They told each other about their teams, Kurenai is very interested to meet Mika's team, they sound fun. Kurenai and Mika are walking to the Chunin arena for the finals, which will start in about an hour. I hope we can get a good seat to cheer on your team. Kurenai was excited for the exams, her team decided that they weren't ready for the exams, so she wanted to see what to expect for when she participated. Mika is excited and nervous, she saw the participants during the preliminaries and they looked really strong. Yeah, that Iwa guy and Kumo guy are very strong, I hope Naruto and Toshiro-kun do well. Said Mika. Kurenai has been interested in meeting Naruto for a while, he is younger than her and much more talented than she is from what she heard. He is also the only other genin she knew of that had an interest in Genjutsu. Academy Room 103. Iruka is grading papers waiting for his students to arrive. He has a surprise for them today, normally for the exams kids would go with their parents if they got permission, but he would take his whole class. After all, one of their age group who had been in this class would be in the exams. Once the rambunctious academy students all took their seats he cleared his throat. Now during the exams we would have a normal class, but since your former classmate Naruto Uzumaki will be in the finals, I thought we should go cheer him on. Iruka announced, he saw all their faces lighten up, not only will they get a free day from class, but get to go watch the exams. Sasuke Uchiha's interest is piqued. He remembers Naruto, he was better than him at everything by so much. His brother told him to make Naruto his rival and he tried to, but he couldn't keep up. He is excited to see how far ahead of him Naruto is nowadays. I don't remember this Naruto guy. Kiba Inuzuka yelled. Honestly, I couldn't remember the last weeks, let alone some kid from years ago, but if he got out of class for a day he wouldn't complain too much. Ino Yamanaka isn't known to be the biggest gossip in Konoha for nothing, she knows who Naruto is. Quiet. Ino yelled, getting everyone's attention, Sensei, isn't Naruto Uzumaki the blonde kid that was in our first 2 years, then moved to the last year and graduated a few months ago? Iruka is surprised that she remembered but nodded, Ino squealed yes. He's hailed as a genius and prodigy, and is super cute. I can't wait to see him in action. She loved a cute boy, and Naruto was up there with Sasuke. Sakura had a tick mark on her forehead, no way Ino pig. He can't be better than Sasuke-kun. Sakura was Sasuke's biggest and most loyal fan. Sasuke hated every single fangirl with a passion. But he won't delude himself into thinking he is stronger than Naruto. Actually, Sasuke knows her name, but just refuses to say it. Naruto was better than me at everything when he was in our class, and he wouldn't have graduated before me if I were better. He said in a deadpan expression to get his point across even better. Everyone in class is surprised to hear the Uchiha speak. He never said more than necessary to answer their sensei when he was called on. Sakura is depressed, Sasuke didn't even know her name, she just wanted to disappear. Everyone else is shocked to hear any humility come from the Uchiha, all the guys thought he was an arrogant prick. Iruka decides to get everything on schedule so they can make it on time. Okay, settle down, we will be leaving to go to the stadium to watch the exam. Iruka said as he opened the door to lead the class out. Stadium. Cage booth. Hiruzen Sarutobi is sitting in his chair waiting for the Kazuki agent Tsuchikage to arrive. He wished one would have declined, but that would have been too convenient. His guard gestured to his left, looking over he saw that both were arriving at the same time. As looking around at all the people, he is surprised that more of them didn't look angry or scared of him. He supposed that either the Hyuga incident isn't public knowledge or the people here were more forgiving than he thought. Inoki is bored, he has been here before and even though the Kyuubi attacked the place hasn't really changed at all. Ah, here's Indono, it is actually good to see you. Inoki wasn't lying, he had lots of respect for the old monkey, he was the only one who could beat him repeatedly. Hiruzen nodded his head in greeting, Dono, Inoki Dono, glad you could make it. I hope the trip wasn't too hard on you, Inoki. The Hokage's guards tensed, they were honestly terrified, two kage that weren't exactly friends with their village, and that didn't sound like a compliment. Inoki barked out a laugh. My back isn't too happy about it, but I managed an old friend. Inoki was old and everyone knew that he didn't really care anymore. He grunted, when is this going to start, Hokage Dono? Ed didn't want to make friends, he wanted to see the Naruto and Demitsuchi he's heard about. Hiruzen didn't let the disrespect bother him, it will be starting soon once everyone arrives. Arena ground level. Toshiro, despite Kakashi wanting to be late, arrived first. He was hoping that Naruto would be here so they could catch up, but he missed his loudmouth friend. But he hasn't arrived yet, actually everyone else is here except Naruto. Genma was asked to be the proctor for the finals, everyone except for Konoha's front runner was here, technically he wasn't late, but they could have started already. Naruto is running as fast as he can. The stupid Toad Sage forgot that today was the exam and they slept in, now he will be late. He is tempted to summon Gamabunta to get him to the arena, but that would take most of his chakra, and he would need that. Naruto channeled chakra into his legs to speed up, the stadium is coming into sight, he'll make it. Toshiro is seriously getting worried that Naruto forgot today is the exam. He closed his eyes with a sigh, suddenly the crowd started to cheer wildly. Opening his eyes he saw his teammate falling next to him from the roof of the stadium wall. Sorry I'm late, I slept in thinking the finals were tomorrow. Toshiro's sweat dropped, he knew it. Genma looks up to the Hokage who nodded, clearing his throat. Welcome to the finals of the Chunin exams. Our first match will be with Naruto Uzumaki of Konoha vs Kuretsuchi of Iowa. Cheers erupted from the audience, Naruto was the front runner for Konoha and everyone bet on him to win the whole thing. The other contestants went up to the viewing booth, leaving Naruto and Kuretsuchi waiting to begin. Page booth. Ah, ha 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 ha. Both Tsuchikage and Reikage are laughing. They recognized the kid immediately, he is obviously the fourth's brat. They thought it was hilarious nobody recognized the brat, he was hidden behind the Uzumaki name and apparently it was working. Dumbasses. I didn't think he had a kid. Inoki said wiping a tear from his eye, he was surprised that the yellow flash had a kid, but this exam got a lot more interesting. Hiruzen frowned at the two kage, I hope you both won't make this an issue. It didn't come out as a threat, but it was one. Both of the kage frowned, why would they care? That brat wasn't even a stain on his father's pants during the war, why the hell would I care who he is if I'm too old for war? Inoki honestly doesn't care, but looking at he seemed to care. I am most interested in him. I wonder how strong he is compared to his father. I liked fighting the fourth, he considered Minato his rival, even though he usually lost to him. Hiruzen is relieved that they didn't start yelling for Naruto's head. Well then, I am most interested in this match with your granddaughter Inoki. Hiruzen said, making Inoki smirk, he doubted she would win, but Demitsuchi could handle the blonde brat. Arena floor. Genma looks at the two contestants raising his hand, begin. He jumped away. Naruto and Kuretsuchi stood still, I'm going to make you pay for trying to kill Mika-chan. Naruto said, dead serious. Kuretsuchi smirked, well I hope you bring your A-game mini fourth Hokage. I remember where I saw someone who looked like you. It was the fourth Hokage, you must have been his son huh? The stadium went silent, now that someone mentioned it, Naruto did look like the fourth. Naruto frowned, well you're right he was my dad, but I'm my own person. Let's get started. Everyone was in shock, but that did stop them from cheering harder than before. Naruto got into a stance, he was tired of talking. Kuretsuchi is ready. She went through seals for the fire release. Burning wave, stronger than before when a wave of fire comes at Naruto. Naruto disappears in a burst of speed, no seals only pointing at Kuretsuchi when he appears to her left. Lightning release. Lightning stream, a stream of lightning shot at Kuretsuchi, she jumps back out of the way only for Naruto to reapply the jutsu at her where she lands, piercing her arm. Kuretsuchi grunts in pain, you bastard. Kuretsuchi goes through more seals. Naruto notices that and decides to take advantage and charges. Kuretsuchi doesn't have time to finish the jutsu, blocking a powerful kick and engaging Naruto into jutsu. Naruto quickly gets the upper hand into jutsu. He starts to overwhelm her and gets a roundhouse kick knocking her back. Going through seals and building chakra. Kitsuchi shook her head, but Naruto wasn't there. Naruto appears behind her with a tiger seal, earth release. Earth flow river, Kitsuchi didn't have time to react. Getting washed up in the river of mud, she starts to regain balance. Naruto goes through more seals, earth release. Earth dragon bullet. Kitsuchi is about to be pelted with a barrage of solid rock bullets. She uses the only thing she can think of, earth release. Hiding like a mole jutsu, it hurts, but she got out of the jutsu before something could happen. Rising up a few meters away with the snake seal in place. Lava release. Melting jutsu. Kitsuchi yelled, she wanted Naruto to know that he was going to die using her strongest technique. Naruto blurred through 14 seals faster than most in the crowd could keep up with. Water release. Water colliding wave, Naruto spit out a massive amount of water making a giant vortex around him before a tidal wave charged the lava and Kitsuchi. Naruto isn't done, going through 4 more seals, lightning release. False darkness. As the wave charged the lava, a giant spear of lightning shot from Naruto's mouth into the water. The blanket of lava was cooled by the tidal wave and the leftover stone was destroyed by the lightning. Kitsuchi didn't know any wind techniques and created an earth wall to try and get over the wave. It was futile, the wave took over and Kitsuchi was electrocuted. She screamed in pain then fell to her knees. Naruto used a body flicker technique to get behind Kitsuchi and chop the back of her neck, knocking her out. Genma appeared looking around at the damage the kid made a lake. He calls for the repair squad to fix the arena. Winner. Naruto Uzumaki. The crowd shook the stadium with cheers. Audience. Mika is cheering loudly, while Kurenai's eyes were wide, she wasn't anywhere near that level. Mika-chan, has Naruto always been that strong with ninjutsu? Kurenai asked, it is unheard of for a genin to know 2 elements. Mika looked to Kurenai, Naruto-kun has always been stronger than us, he is a true genius. Sasuke frowned while watching the match. I wish I had activated my Sharingan. Those were some awesome jutsu, they would help with my goal. I need to start training more. Ino is cheering loudly, that was amazing. Naruto totally kicked that girl's ass. Inoichi next to her was clapping himself. Your son will have my vote, Minato, he will be an amazing shinobi. The rest of the academy students were trying to form words, but couldn't, Naruto was their age and is worlds ahead of them. It's unreal. Page Booth. Inoki grunted, I didn't expect her to lose without at least landing a hit on her opponent. Inoki said he knew she would lose, but that was kind of embarrassing. You got a gem with that one, Hokage Dono. But I think Derry will be able to handle him. It didn't give a compliment to someone not of his village without saying that he was better right after. Hiruzen chuckled, we will see Raikage Dono, we will see. Arena floor. Toshiro's fight is next, he has to fight Derry. The crowd cheers for the next match, Toshiro is said to be a Kenjutsu prodigy, so they were excited. Derry didn't look to be into the fight, he just looked bored. After the arena finished getting fixed, Genma announced the next match. The second match will be Toshiro of Konoha vs Derry of Kumo. Genma announced, the crowd roared wanting the next fight to start. The Raikage leaned forward, Derry is his favorite. Genma raises his hand, begin. Jumping back to get out of the way for the match. Derry unsheathes his clever sword, lightning cracking over the blade after using chakra flow with lightning chakra. The higher up shinobi are surprised that a genin could even do that. Toshiro trained for this, he concentrated on his katana and flowed wind nature chakra through it. His month with Kakashi was about learning to counter the lightning techniques that Derry would use. Both stared at each other, neither were the trash-talking type. Both rushed each other and clashed in the middle of the arena. The Kenjutsu fight that both had was more of a dance between masters, the swords flowed through the motions when Toshiro would go low, Derry would redirect the blade higher and continue the dance. Locking swords and engaging in a power struggle, both grunted at the other's strength. You're stronger than you look. Derry grunted, he didn't think that Toshiro was that strong, but here he was fighting for dominance against him. Toshiro didn't answer, cheeks puffing up while they were close, he spat out a senbon made of compressed water. Derry leans back, getting a cut on his cheek. Derry sheaths his sword, he would be overwhelmed if he continued with Kenjutsu. Page Booth. Good, Derry will start getting serious. As said, he didn't like that bout of Kenjutsu he just watched, Derry wasn't the winner of it. Inoki snorted, yeah, otherwise that other kid would have beaten him. He loved antagonizing that giant fool of a cage. Hiruzen interrupted before anything could start. Let's not start antagonizing each other, this fight has only just begun. Placated Hiruzen. Back in the fight. Derry started going through seals, lightning release. False darkness. The same jutsu Naruto used, only much more powerful, shot at Toshiro who took a deep breath, wind release. Great breakthrough. It isn't Toshiro's strongest jutsu, but it is enough to weaken the lightning and let Toshiro charge in with his sword. Toshiro got in close to give a wide slash at Derry, who brought out his cleaver sword to block just in time. They re-engaged into a kenjutsu bout. Toshiro went for a low slash to Derry's leg to make him block. With speed Toshiro didn't show yet, he slashed Derry on his arm. Derry channeled lightning chakra through his sword badly, so it would be volatile. When their swords clashed, lightning exploded. Derry was expecting it and managed to lean back to avoid the shock while Toshiro got electrocuted. Using Toshiro's stunned state to go through seals, water release. Water severing wave, going through 2 more seals, lightning release. Quick flash. The resulting beam of lightning enhanced high pressure water would be enough to slice stone like butter. Toshiro was pierced through the gut. Eyes wide, Toshiro fell to the ground with blood leaking out of the hole through his stomach. Genma arrived with medics trailing him. He checked over Toshiro. He is surprised that Derry aimed for a non-vital spot. The kid would be fine if the medics stopped the bleeding fast enough. In the audience, Mika's eyes are wide and is about to jump down to try to help Toshiro when a hand grabs her on the shoulder. Don't worry Mika, Toshiro wasn't hit in a vital spot, he should be fine with the medics there to stop the bleeding. Kakashi said from behind her, his Sharingan active so he could see the wound from the stands. Mika calmed down after hearing that and turned to Kakashi, where were you sensei? You missed Naruto's match. Kakashi pulled his headband down to cover his Sharingan, I was here for it, I was watching from up higher. I didn't want anyone to see me arriving on time. Reasons. Kakashi. Mika's sweat dropped at that but didn't think Kakashi was lying, it sounded like something he would do after all. Kurenai decided now was a good time to introduce herself, hello my name is Kurenai. She bowed in respect, this was Kakashi of the Sharingan, she wouldn't disrespect him. Kakashi looked at her for a second, ah you're on Genma's team, sorry about your teammate and thanks for spending time with Mika-chan here. Kurenai's teammate was injured beyond what a shinobi was able to bounce back from, he lost all function in his right leg from a lightning jutsu mishap. Kurenai looked down sadly, yeah, at least he didn't die, we can still visit him. And no problem, Mika is a good friend now. She really liked Mika. They had good teamwork, Mika would rush in and she would stay back and confuse them with ninjutsu. Page booth. Hiruzen took out his pipe and started to smoke. Good match Reikage Dono. I wonder when he will use the storm release. I am very interested in seeing it again. It didn't respond to that, he just stared at the battlefield while Inoki chuckled at the 2 Kage. The Hokage didn't really care about his shinobi's loss, he just wanted to poke at the Reikage. Well the Reikage is waiting for his next contestant's fight to start. Arena floor. Genma is watching the next 2 shinobi walk onto the field. Kumo Kunoichi looked calm and ready to fight, the Iwa guy looked like he didn't even care who he was fighting, like the whole exam was inconsequential. The next fight is between Samui of Kumo versus Demotsuchi of Iwa. The crowd gave a polite applause for the 2 fighters, even though they were foreign, it should still be a good fight from the rumors about the Iwa genin. Genma looks between them, Samui is in a stance with her tanto out and Demotsuchi had a hand in his pocket looking at him. Not bothering to ask, just raised his hand and called out begin. Samui rushes Demotsuchi with a lightning enhanced tanto ready to kill. Demotsuchi slowed his breathing in anticipation and raised his hand at the tanto that was about to cut off his head. The tanto was blocked, the entire crowd was silent, nobody could think of a response. Demotsuchi channeled wind chakra into his palm and caught the blade without changing his face. He still has a bored expression. Grabbing and tossing the tanto away while kicking Samui in the gut with considerable power making her fly back. Samui corrected herself mid-air and landed on her feet, only to barely dodge a blast of fire, managing to singe her arm. She looks around for Demotsuchi, she frowned, he's gone. 2 hands burst from under her, grabbing her ankles pulling her underground to her neck. Demotsuchi arose from the ground in front of her and sat down in front of her. So, you can surrender or I can melt your skull. Demotsuchi didn't care as long as the fight ended now. Samui isn't adept enough with lightning to break the ground fast enough to get away. When she was finished, I surrendered. Demotsuchi nodded and pulled her to her feet. Winner. Demotsuchi of Iwa. The crowd cheered, it was a very entertaining match. They had to applaud. Audience. The future rookie 9 are shocked at how easily the Iwa ninja finished the Kumo Kunoichi. That was really fast and… wow Ino was having trouble putting it into words. The Iwa genin didn't even look like he wanted to be there and finished the fight without any trouble. She's going to up her training with her father. Ino turned to Inoichi who was sitting next to her, Daddy, can we up my training, that was kinda scary. I don't want to be in that situation. Ino asked, Inoichi is smiling, but frowning on the inside, he really didn't want his baby girl fighting against a monster like that. But he would up her training considerably, so that she will be safe. But the Hyugas. Hiashi is laughing his ass off on the inside, but his face never changed from the stone look he keeps on the outside. He loves watching a Kumo ninja get humiliated. Hinata, we will up your training, at the way you are progressing, you will be in danger in the field. He hated that his daughter was so meek, he thought training her harder would toughen her up, but it had the opposite effect. Hinata nodded but didn't say anything. That was scary, I doubt I would be able to beat someone like that. Father will just berate me more when we train. I hope I can be strong enough to not disappoint you, mother. Hinata never let go of her mother's death, she always looked after Hanabi, who was a normal little girl with talent, while she could never live up to her father's expectations. Sasuke is enjoying himself, other than the girls surrounding him who keep talking to each other or trying to talk to him. It is fun to watch fights between competent shinobi. These guys are strong, I can't wait to test myself when I become a genin. The first one I want to fight is Naruto, to see where I stand. Sasuke knew that he would lose, but he wanted to know how badly. Mika and Kurenai have their eyebrows raised in shock. That was almost as fast as his preliminary match. He is really strong and I doubt that has shown everything he's capable of. Thought Mika. Kurenai heard about the prelims from Mika and doubted how strong he really is, but seeing him fight herself, she wasn't doubting anymore. She is nervous for Naruto, he has two strong opponents ahead of him. Kakashi is analyzing the Iwa Genin. This kid, Hokage-sama, told me he might have the dust release, but if he can do all this with just speed and wind, how will he do with all his techniques? Page Booth. Inoki was smirking, his student was showing everyone else up. Well, that's my student. He wanted to take his credit for Demitsuchi, he trained him after all. The grunted and looked over, that's quite a kid you got there, he didn't even look like he was trying. I'm going to be watching his career from now on. Assured that Tsuchikage. Hiruzen is silent but sends the signal to Genma to continue with the exams. Arena floor. Naruto is walking down the hallway leading to the arena when he bumped into Demitsuchi, who is leaning against the hallway wall. Keep your strength in this match, I want you close to full power when we fight. Make it fast and good luck. Demitsuchi said before walking off. He felt Naruto's power when they met in the first test and has been excited to fight the blonde since. Naruto emerged from the hallway to see Genma and Derry waiting. Genma saw the Hokage's signal and cleared his throat. Okay everyone, this is the semi-finals, Derry of Kumo vs Naruto Uzumaki of Konoha. The crowd erupted into a roar of cheers for the last Konoha shinobi in the exam. Derry is serious, this is his mission. Not to mention winning this match would make the final have no leaf shinobi in it, further humiliating Konoha. Naruto is calming himself and channeling chakra into a scroll to reveal his bow staff. Derry frowned for a second at the new information, he had no idea Naruto used a bow staff. Unsheathing his cleaver sword and getting ready. Genma didn't even ask, begin. He jumped away so the two could begin. Naruto didn't wait, rushing in a zigzag close to his top speed. Derry channeled lightning into his sword and blocked the incredibly strong hit from the staff, he is surprised that the staff stayed in one piece after hitting the lightning-enhanced sword. Looking closer he notices a slight blue glow that is hard to notice on the already blue staff. During the month Jiraiya introduced him to Fuinjutsu. He's only a beginner, but Jiraiya is a master. As a project, Jiraiya helped him make a seal for his staff so he could harden it, making it much more durable by channeling chakra through it. Naruto goes for a leg sweep to off-balance Derry and spun his staff around to get some momentum. Instead of going for a swing he jabbed his staff into Derry's stomach, Derry blocked it with his sword and spun around the staff to get inside Naruto's guard. Going for a decapitating cut, Naruto ducked under it, jumping from a crouch to headbutt Derry's stomach, knocking the wind out of him. Naruto went through seals while backstepping, wind release. Vacuum wave, Derry sensed the danger and dived away. Looking back he saw the concrete wall behind him had a crater in it the size of him in it. Derry went through seals of his own after managing to avoid the wind jutsu. Water release. Water severing wave, Naruto didn't even react, only using the snake seal, and a wall of solid earth rose from under him. Naruto managed to master the earth release. Earth wall to the point of only needing one hand sign, it is very helpful. Atop the wall, Naruto made a clone, both running through seals, earth release. Swamp of the underworld, underneath Derry the ground started to suck him under at an alarming rate. Using his cleaver sword that has lightning running through it to slash his way out. After managing to escape he was hit in the leg by a beam of lightning. Naruto loves the lightning release. Lightning stream. It could kill if he aimed it right and it was really fast and accurate. Perfect for disabling and precise blows when Naruto didn't want to kill. Derry knew he had to do something fast or it would be over. Putting his hands in the snake seal with his finger facing Naruto atop the wall, a ring of energy surrounds his hands. Storm release. Laser circus, a dozen of concentrated beams of energy came at Naruto at a very high speed and in a seemingly random pattern. Page Booth. Hiruzen's interest is piqued, it has been 30 years since he has seen Kekkei Genkai. It is just as impressive as he remembered. It was smirking, good fight, Derry isn't messing around anymore. Well, Naruto-kun isn't exactly going all out, he will manage, I assure you. The third responded smoothly. I was about to retort, but their attention was brought back to the fight. Back in the fight. Naruto was waiting for this, Jiraiya prepared him for this. Gathering double the chakra necessary for his jutsu. After cutting the waterfall, wind techniques came much easier and were even stronger. His control allowed him to overload jutsu with chakra to make them even stronger, as long as his chakra control was good enough to handle the influx of chakra. Wind release. Vacuum Great Sphere, Naruto waits until the beams are close enough to hit all of them. The wind jutsu only disrupted the lightning chakra, but the water became significantly less dangerous, only splashing him with the power of a slap. Naruto uses the body flicker technique to get close enough to slam his staff into Derry's chest, knocking him back. Not having the speed to respond and with a hole in his leg, Derry has nothing left to do. Laying on his back in pain, Derry looks at the Jonin spectator. I surrender. Derry called out in his lazy voice. Winner. Naruto of Konoha. Genma announced, making the crowd cheer like maniacs. Audience. Mika fell back into her seat. Wow, he did it. Amazing. She was scared after seeing Storm Jutsu, but like always, Naruto had a plan or was just quick on his feet. Whatever works, she supposes. Kurenai is impressed. Wow, he is a really good Mika-chan. I thought he was done after that jutsu. Kurenai said, making Mika smile. Naruto always has a plan, and if those don't work he is really, really lucky. She once saw Naruto get 3 royal straight flushes in a row while playing poker, which should be mathematically impossible. Kurenai smiled, I guess so. But now he has to fight Demitsuchi, who looks much stronger than Derry. I hope he wins. Mika nodded with a worried look, she didn't even remember the Iwa Genin. Kiba is cheering loudly, that's my friend right there. He totally got those jutsu from me. Kiba boasted, trying to impress the group of girls sitting behind him. Shikamaru snorted, Kiba stopped being troublesome and lying to those girls. Shikamaru turns to his left where his father is sitting. Naruto looks to be good at 3 elements, Dad, isn't that impossible? Asks Shikamaru. No, it isn't, but to be that developed at his age, it is truly extraordinary. Shikaku didn't say that the only person that adept in ninjutsu at that age from what he's heard was the 3rd Hokage. But saying that would be bothersome. Ishino Nara looked at her son, you should start training harder, Shikamaru-kun. You could be just as good if you got off your lazy ass and trained. Shikamaru just grunted something like troublesome mothers under his breath, making his father and Choji chuckle. Page Booth. Is trying to keep from destroying something, his star genin just got beat by the Yellow Flash's brat. That was something, but with who he is, it's not unexpected. Hiruzen frowned, but Inoki responded, well of course I don't know. The father he has never met has trained and made sure he is strong. Inoki may hate the Yellow Flash, but he wouldn't give away the kid's win out of a grudge. I just snorted without having a response. Hiruzen had to hide his shock that Tsuchikage defended Naruto, never in his life did he think he would see this. Arena floor. The cleaning crew flattened the landscape again and Naruto is waiting for Demitsuchi to get down to the arena. Demitsuchi emerged from the hallway with a grin, he has been waiting for this. I'm glad you took care of the Kumo guy. I have been waiting to fight you since I felt your chakra in the first test. I knew you were strong like me, I am going to enjoy this. Demitsuchi stretched and got into a stance. Well, the feeling is mutual. Naruto got into a stance with his staff at the ready. Genma felt the excitement from not only the two about to fight, but the crowd too. Begin. Naruto and Demitsuchi started flaring their chakra at each other, both having significant chakra pressure. Around both of them is a glow of chakra. Demitsuchi has a dark blue glow, while Naruto's was almost golden in color. Both charged each other at top speed. Demitsuchi and Naruto met in a flurry of fists. Demitsuchi goes for a wind-enhanced fist only for Naruto to block it with his staff and go for a leg sweep. Demitsuchi jumps over the sweep and goes for a kick. Naruto backs away from the kick and spins his staff with as much power as he can, he brings it down on Demitsuchi, seeing the danger he decides that avoiding the staff is in his best interest. Deciding that the staff will be a problem, Demitsuchi took out 2 kunai. Engaging Naruto again, he waits for the best opportunity. Channeling wind chakra flowed through both kunai and brought them into X-guard under the staff and used as much power as he could to break the staff. Naruto is shocked that even with the seal, his staff could be broken, backing away and sealing the remains of his weapon before looking at Demitsuchi. Both stayed still. The crowd is silent in anticipation. Demitsuchi took a deep breath and used the horse seal. Fire release. Great burning wave, a wall of fire too high and wide to dodge, erupted from Demitsuchi. Naruto stayed calm using the snake seal and spat out a line of mud in front of him. Earth release. Earth wall, the jutsu can be made 2 different ways, touching the ground or spitting out mud to create the earth for the wall. Creating the wall from mud was significantly stronger than doing it any other way. The 1-meter thick 5-meter high wall of solid stone rose from the line of mud protecting Naruto from the firestorm. Emitsuchi didn't let the wall bother him, he actually expected it. 5 Narutos appeared a few meters away surrounding him in a circle. Each Naruto channeled chakra of a separate element with a separate hand sign. The 5 jutsu combination was beyond Naruto at this skill level, but using the chakra manipulation for each element to create a stream of each element that was quite strong is enough. Emitsuchi's eyes widened, he didn't expect this at all. Demitsuchi only had one option, he claps his hands together. Audience. Seeing all 5 elements being utilized by a genin using 5 shadow clones simultaneously is shocking to say the least. Ino looked at her father, "Daddy, is that possible?" Inoichi knew it was possible, they were seeing it after all. The third Hokage was famous for his mastery of each element, so it wasn't the first time it was done, but by a genin, it was absurd. Inoichi looked at Ino. Well, Hokage-sama is famous for that. But for a genin to do it. He really is a genius. Ino just nodded and continued to watch the fight. Sasuke is shocked, "This is crazy, what am I doing wrong to be this far behind someone? I need to triple my training. I'm still too weak. I'll never kill Itachi." Sasuke is frowning, but didn't let any of the anger show past that. Mika isn't too surprised, she has seen Naruto use each element in the clones before, but never all at once. "I knew he could do all that, but I never thought he would do it all at once, that was really cool." She didn't sound too surprised, only mildly so. Kurenai looked at her like she was crazy, cool, that was incredible. She couldn't believe that a genin like her could do half of the stuff she has seen today. Jiraiya is on the roof of the stadium with a smirk, show off. Page booth. Inoki is surprised but isn't angry. "It is nice that both of us have students in the finals in Hiruzen, based on his performance, you obviously had a hand in his training." Hiruzen just smiled, "Yes, I suppose you're right." Words couldn't describe how proud he was of Naruto. But is seriously upset, those 2 down there are going to be a threat. I will have them marked in the bingo book when I get home. Back in the fight. There was an explosion, and Naruto is waiting to see the result of his combination. When the dust cleared, Demitsuchi looked fine. Naruto couldn't hide his shock. Demitsuchi smirked, "Well, that would have beaten me, if I was ordinary." Clapping his hands and another square of energy appeared between his palms. "But as you can see, I'm not ordinary." Audience. What the hell is that? Mika yelled she thought that Naruto had won it, now the Iwa guy had an even better technique she has never seen before. Kakashi had his Sharingan out, that is the dust release Kekkei Toda. Only known users were the 2nd and 3rd Tsuchikages. But it seems like this kid can do it too. That was troubling to Kakashi, if Naruto wasn't careful he would be obliterated. Kurenai is silent, how will he deal with this, that is a legendary Kekkei Toda. Hopefully he won't die. Toshiro was walking down the stairs when Demitsuchi brought out the jutsu. He heard what Kakashi said. Hopefully Naruto can deal with it alright. All 3 turned around, surprised that Toshiro is up and out of the hospital. Mika rushed him, "Are you sure you can be up yet? Are you okay? Come sit down, you shouldn't be walking around." Mika was talking too fast for Toshiro to understand and just sat next to Kakashi. He looked at the girl next to Mika with a raised eyebrow. Kurenai notices the look, "Oh, I'm Kurenai Yuhi, I'm from Team Genma. Mika has been doing missions with us since your team started training for the finals." Toshiro nodded, she was cute for sure, but her red eyes are unusual. Page booth. Hiruzen frowned, "I thought as much, I wonder if Jiraiya helped Naruto." Judging by Naruto's look I would say he forgot. Inoki was grinning, the boy Demitsuchi. They stayed silent, but that bingo book entry would be significantly higher now. Back in the fight. Well shit. How am I going to deal with this? Naruto didn't really have a plan for this, so he would wing it. He works well under pressure anyway. Demitsuchi charged the jutsu and fired it at Naruto, dust release. Detachment of the primitive world. A square of energy surrounded Naruto, the ball in the center erupted and the square became engulfed in light. The entire place was silent and most were shocked that the blonde was gone, no trace whatsoever. Demitsuchi let out a breath, that jutsu was difficult and used a massive amount of chakra. Naruto suddenly emerged from the ground under him and uppercut Demitsuchi's chin. He is too shocked that Naruto was alive to react. Then he realized that he must have switched with his clone after his combination was over. The crowd erupts in a thunder of applause. Demitsuchi corrects himself mid-air after the hit. Landing on his feet and going though hand seals. But Naruto is faster and appeared behind him, this was a combination that the 3rd gave him before the finals, now he was going to use it. Naruto has the Tiger Seal out, Earth release. Mud Flow River, he goes through 10 more seals, Earth release. Earth Dragon Bullet, as the Earth Bullet shot from the Mud Dragon's head Naruto went through 5 more hand seals, Fire release. Fire Dragon Bullet. The combination is ridiculously hard, it took him 3 days with 20 clones going at it all day to get it right. But the results are well worth it. Demitsuchi didn't have a response to it and is blasted by earth bullets that are on fire. Demitsuchi is in excruciating pain. The mudslide banged him up. The fire-earth dragon combination after was just mean in his opinion. When the mud went away he was lying face up on the ground with a pained expression. "Yeah, I give," moaned out Demitsuchi. Winner of the match in the Chunin exams, Naruto Uzumaki. The crowd was going crazy. The kid beat all of the strongest contestants and overcame Kekkei Genkai and Kekkei Toda. Audience. He did it. Mika jumped up with a cheer. Kakashi was clapping with an eye smile at Mika's cheering. Toshiro and Kurenai were both clapping like normal people. Toshiro was happy for his friend. Kurenai really wants to meet him now. He is interested in Genjutsu, talented and cute. Yes, she would like to meet him. What a guy. Ino is clapping loudly while cheering. Inoichi is astonished at the earth and fire combination at the end. That was very high-level elemental manipulation. A few years of experience and he could be a jonin. Your son is quite the ninja. Shikaku was thinking along the same lines, only thinking it was more bothersome. Sasuke is clapping. I wonder who his sensei is. And I hope he will consider training me. Page Booth. Inoki is clapping politely. I'll admit that I'm upset that Demitsuchi lost. But that was a good showing for both of our villages. Hiruzen nods his head. Yes, Naruto-kun can certainly give a good show. Thank you both for coming to the finals, Reikage Dono, Tsuchikage Dono. Hiruzen said politely, wanting to get them out of his village as fast as they could. I wanted to leave to add those two to the bingo book. That was a good exam, Hokage Dono. We will be taking our leave in the morning. The Hokage nodded when Inoki said the same thing. Arena floor. Naruto is jumping up and down in excitement. He won the Chunin exams. People were rushing him from the stands. Someone was ruffling his hair. Looking up he sees Jiraiya-sensei smiling down at him. Good job, kid. That was what I expected from my apprentice. We will have to celebrate when you get promoted. Jiraiya said, grinning at the last part. Mika grabs Naruto in a hug. Good job, Naruto. That was amazing, you won the whole thing. Mika was even more excited than he was. Thanks, Mika-chan. Thanks for cheering me on, guys, he told his other sensei and teammates. Mika's face suddenly looks like she remembered something. Oh, I almost forgot, this is Kurenai Yuhi. She is my new friend from the team I have been doing missions with while you guys were training. Mika said, gesturing to Kurenai. Naruto looked the girl over. She has unruly black hair, strange ruby red eyes. Beige shirt and red shorts with mesh underneath. She definitely isn't unattractive. Hi, I'm Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto extended his hand to hers as she did the same with a smile. Nice to meet you, Naruto Uzumaki. Kurenai said with a smile. Chapter 8. A new mission. Barbecue restaurant. After everything was over and the people left the stadium, Naruto and his team along with Kurenai decided to celebrate at the barbecue restaurant. Kakashi guided them to a booth and ordered some food. So where did Jiraiya-sama go to Naruto? Kakashi asked. He thought that Jiraiya would have wanted to come or at least pay. Naruto just snorted. Sensei said that we would celebrate tomorrow after the Kumo and Iwa shinobi leave and we see if we get promoted. Said Naruto. Toshiro isn't too optimistic on being promoted. He did well in the beginning, but he was outclassed. Mika decides to ask about the blonde's training with the Sannin. What did you do over the month, Naruto? You must have learned a lot. Inquired Mika. Naruto nods with a grin. Oh yeah, Jiraiya-sensei taught me a lot, but you guys saw all of my new jutsu during the exam. He helped me refine my taijutsu and I learned 5 jutsu, but I didn't use the summoning jutsu during the exam. Naruto said, well, everyone was shocked that Naruto already signed the legendary Toad contract. Kurenai is looking at Naruto with wide eyes. You signed Jiraiya-sama's summoning contract. That's incredible. Said Kurenai. Naruto snorted at the respectful title. Kurenai, you should just call him Jiraiya, trust me. He isn't anything like you probably think he is. Naruto said he doesn't want to ruin everyone's image of his sensei. Jiraiya was perfectly good at that on his own. Kurenai frowns. Jiraiya-sama is one of the legendary Sannin, I should show him respect. Naruto just laughed and shrugged. So Toshiro, how much did you learn from training with Kakashi-sensei? Toshiro was eating some pork when he was asked. He learned a lot, but it was mostly refining his skills and training with wind. I worked on my physical strength, speed, and started to learn wind to counter the lightning techniques Derry would use. But he was much stronger than I expected. Toshiro said he hoped he would get promoted. He is better than he got to show, but he never got the chance. Kakashi nodded. Yeah, Toshiro got the handle of 2 winds, the one you saw in the wind release. Wind bullets. Plus he finished the water chakra training, he should be promoted. How far are you on elemental training? Kakashi asked, but seeing the level of Naruto used during the exam, Kakashi would bet that Naruto is pretty far. Naruto swallowed the pork in his mouth before thinking, well, I used clones to multitask. I finished wind since Jiraiya-sensei's training ground had a waterfall. Fire and earth were the other elements I worked on. I finished the first level for both, and with earth I'm closer to finishing the second task than with fire. Sensei is a lot of help since those are his best elements. Kakashi is impressed, the kid has a good handle on each element but was close to mastering 2. That was better than where he was at that age, he only used 3 elements until he got the Sharingan. Impressive, with clones you can improve so much quicker than anyone else. How many can you use now? Asked Kakashi, knowing that using more than 20 caused Naruto to lose too much chakra before he could make headway. Naruto frowns, the only drawback from the clone training method is the chakra consumption, I can use almost 27 at a time for upwards of 7 hours non-stop. Kurenai decided to interrupt that, wait, shadow clones. 27 for 7 hours. That has to be impossible. She couldn't fathom the chakra drain, she would die if she tried. Naruto chuckled, no way, not for me. I have an enormous amount of chakra. That's the reason I'm able to do the variety of ninjutsu I do. If an element isn't your affinity, until you master it the jutsu will be higher cost and less powerful. But since I have so much, the only drawback is just the power. Naruto said he saw the difference in power when Derry used the same lightning jutsu as him with less hand signs with way more power and speed. Mika-chan told me that you have an interest in Jinjutsu. I'm aiming to become the foremost master of Jinjutsu in the village. Kurenai said it was her dream to master Jinjutsu and show the village that there were other ways besides flashy ninjutsu. Naruto's eyes lit up, really? That's awesome. I only had time to learn one Jinjutsu and I only really use it on Toshiro in the mornings, it's hilarious. I do want to become a master of each discipline. After all, a future Hokage has to be the best at everything. Confidence radiated from Naruto and with him staring at Kurenai, she really had to fight back a blush. Kurenai, after getting her cheeks under control she clears her throat. Well that's a great goal and I hope you do it. She wasn't kidding. Deep down something is telling him that he would become Hokage, maybe it is his self-confidence and conviction, but she believed it. Naruto smiled even more after that, not many people believed in his dream, only his team and the old man. Thanks Kurenai-chan, if you want to train together anytime let me know. It will be fun to fight someone who won't go down as easily as Toshiro here. Laughed Naruto. Toshiro threw his chopsticks at him with a glare. Mika starts giggling at the common occurrence. Naruto always makes fun of Toshiro or the other way around, but those two never meant any of it. Kurenai couldn't hide the blush at the Chan, I would like that Naruto-kun. Whoa ho ho. Look at my apprentice, already has a girlfriend, that is a boy. Jiraiya's voice came out well. Somewhere. Naruto looks above him with a glare, Jiraiya is sitting upside down on the roof. We are just friends, you old perv. What are you doing here sensei? I thought you would meet me at the Hokage's office tomorrow. Naruto really didn't think Jiraiya would skip out on any time he had to go research. Jiraiya dropped down and sat next to Naruto and across from the laughing Mika and still blushing Kurenai. Well I wanted to get something to eat with my student. Plus after that showing and with you now known as the 4th Hokage's son, we will have to start being more careful. You now have a very large target on your back. Don't think that because Inoki himself didn't care who you are means that the rest of Iowa will take kindly to it. Warned Jiraiya. Naruto understood, his dad destroyed hundreds of Iowa shinobi during the war single-handedly. They never got over it. Kakashi nodded, and by the way Naruto, are you going to take his name now that everyone knows? No, everyone knows who he is, but barely anyone remembers the Uzumaki clan, even fewer my mother, so I want to keep the Uzumaki clan going. Naruto said he is adamant about this. He won't let his mother's name be forgotten, his father will be remembered forever as the 4th Hokage, so he didn't have to worry about it. Everyone at the table nods at that, it makes sense after all. The rest of the meal finished and everyone said their goodbyes. Jiraiya and Naruto are walking towards Naruto's apartment, so kid I have no doubts that you will be promoted. What do you want to do with your career now? Your father went into Anbu for a couple years after his Chunin promotion and was made a Jonin after his resignation from the Anbu. Kakashi is a legend in the Anbu even to this day. Naruto is quiet, I don't want to go into Anbu, or at least not yet. I don't think I'm ready for something like that, I want to become a Jonin first, then maybe. But I would like to continue training and going on missions to get more experience, even with everything I know I can barely manage to land more than 1 or 2 hits, well you're going at like half speed. Said Naruto. Training with a Toad Sage is infuriating, he is so much better than Naruto at everything. The sage would counter anything like he has seen it before or would simply dodge. Jiraiya laughed loudly at that, of course you couldn't beat me. You're still 10 years too young to even hope to beat me kid. But I think that is a good idea, getting more experience and training. Well I will see you in the old man's office tomorrow. Jiraiya said before walking off too. Naruto doesn't want to think about what the Toad Sage does by himself. Naruto went into his apartment so he could pass out, the exams were tiring and he wanted to sleep. Next day. Hokage's office. After the Iwa and Kumo shinobi left the village, Hiruzen relaxed into his chair. Having 2 Kage in his village is stressful, not to mention the Hyugas were on very high alert with the Kumo shinobi and the Raikage in the village. The old Hokage heard a knock on the door and called out and enter. Naruto and Toshiro walked in with Kakashi trailing behind them reading his book. Hiruzen takes out his pipe and revels in the familiar tobacco taste. Yes, Naruto-kun and Toshiro-kun do come in. We have a lot to discuss. Both of the genin are standing at attention in front of the Hokage's desk. Toshiro, your performance was good, you kept a level head, stayed in the fields you have expertise, have excellent skills in Kenjutsu and control over 2 elements. With these things in mind, I have decided to awarded you the promotion to Chunin. Congratulations. Naruto high-fived the surprised Toshiro, he really didn't think that he did all that well in the exams, but maybe he was too hard on himself. The third looks at Naruto. Naruto, you showed an unheard of ability in ninjutsu, adept skills in taijutsu and bujutsu. With those things in mind, not to mention the fact that you won the whole exams, you are hereby awarded the rank of Chunin. Congratulations. Naruto and Toshiro high-fived again, and an eye-smiling Kakashi patted both of them on the shoulder, he was so proud of his 2 students. Naruto and Toshiro both look at their new vests with pride, they passed their first exam. Naruto is trying to decide if he wants to wear it when Jiraiya appears next to him. Congrats kid. Jiraiya said, patting him on the shoulder with a grin. Toshiro, Kakashi has told me of your aspirations to join the Anbu. If you continue to improve at this rate, in a year or 2 maybe even less you could be accepted into the division. Toshiro was even happier, his goal was to become an Anbu captain like his sensei had been. With your promotions you are allowed access to the 2nd floor of the Shinobi Library and will be asked to be on higher level missions or even called to lead missions. With that out of the way, dismissed. Hiruzen said. Naruto decided to stay, he has something he is still curious about. Toshiro walked out, he wanted to go by train. I've been wondering, what do you think about the Kabuto situation, Hokage-sama? Naruto discussed it with Jiraiya and Naruto wants to hear what the old man thought. The Hokage nods his head. Yes, this is most troubling, especially if he failed on purpose and with those ninja cards, it certainly raises some flags. Hiruzen said he had given the silver-haired genin some thought, he suspects that he is a spy, but had no proof on the matter. Jiraiya steps forward, I think you should give him a tail, see what they come up with. I mean his teammates died in the exam, but Naruto said that his team only knocked them out. So either Kabuto killed them or they were ambushed again without a scroll. Jiraiya didn't live as long as he did without becoming suspicious of shifty characters like Kabuto. Hiruzen lets out a puff of smoke, I think that would be a good idea, I will put an Anbu on him to see his day-to-day and what he gets up to. Hopefully we can see if he has any loyalties besides the village. Naruto is satisfied with the answer and bows his head and leaves the office. Naruto's apartment. Naruto is changing his clothes, now that he is a Chunin, he thought it was appropriate to wear the standard blue outfit with a Chunin flak jacket. Satisfied with the new outfit Naruto decided to start going over his scrolls. The scroll the old man gave him before the finals was finished, it contained the Earth Dragon Jutsu and the ideas and mechanics behind the combination. He decides that it is time to get something in the Genjutsu department since he has seriously been lacking. Getting an idea he raced out of his apartment. Running down the road Naruto freezes, he didn't know where Kurenai lived. Deciding that Mika probably knew he changed directions. Mika's house. The Izuki house isn't that big, it is a quaint 2-story house that Mika and her sister live in. It was left to them by their parents after they died 10 years ago during the Kyuubi attack. Naruto ran up and knocked on the door. After a few minutes he heard some talking and Mika came to the door. Naruto. What are you doing here? I was wondering where I could find Kurenai. Asked Naruto. Mika gave a sly smile, oh really? Well she will either be at the library or training ground 3. Good luck. Mika had a grin on her face seeing Naruto run off. Shinobi Library. The Shinobi Library is a large building. It has 3 visible floors, the 4th floor was under barriers and Genjutsu, so nobody would know where the S-rank information and Jutsu is being kept. The only reason Naruto knows is because Jiraiya told him that the best Jutsu were on the 4th floor. When Naruto asked what he was talking about Jiraiya told him and made him swear to secrecy. The library is perfectly in between the Anbu headquarters and the Hokage's office. It is one of the most protected buildings in the village, with Anbu teams always on patrol in the shadows while they would be on guard inside the building. Naruto walks inside and shows his ninja identification card to the Chunin behind the desk. After the Chunin nodded to him he started looking through the library. Each floor has different sections. The bottom floor only has ninjutsu, taijutsu and genjutsu in 3 main sections. with theory and chakra control in the two other smaller sections. Naruto went to the Jinjutsu section. It is much larger than he was expecting, but Jinjutsu required a lot more study and theory than the other disciplines, so it isn't that surprising when he thought about it. Naruto spots Kurenai reading a large book with a look of concentration on her face. "Hey, PSST, Kurenai." Naruto whispered from the seat across from Kurenai. Kurenai looks up from her book. "What are you doing here, Naruto? Nobody ever comes here, at least never while she's there." Naruto smiles. "Well, I was going to train in Jinjutsu, but I don't have a partner and I wanted to train with you." Kurenai smiles. "Sure, but how about you use that fancy promotion to get some higher level stuff? I'm getting bored with this low level stuff." She gave him a pleading look. Naruto looks at the book she is reading. It's titled Advanced Application of Jinjutsu. He's never read that book and she looked like she was just reviewing it. He's really neglected Jinjutsu. Seeing the look she was giving him, Naruto tries to look away. "Okay, fine, but if you help me with Jinjutsu, I want to help you with ninjutsu. You can't favor just one thing, deal?" He was serious towards the end. Only relying on one type of fighting is a bad idea. Kurenai looks to be thinking it over. "Sure. But get some jutsu for us to practice. I will meet you at training ground 3. She got up and started putting away all the books she took out. Naruto nodded and went to the second floor. The second floor of the library has more people in it. It is the floor where all the C and B ranked information and jutsu is located. Average ninja in their career never get more than 1 or 2 A ranked since the chakra consumption was so high. Most ninja only rely on low-level B rank jutsu since the consumption isn't that high and with good control, they can be very reliable. The Jinjutsu section is significantly larger than the one on the first floor. It has multiple rows with books and before the second Shinobi War, the library had been much smaller with way less jutsu, but during the war a lot of the last Senju died out. But the Senju clan almost being extinct when the village was established, the first Hokage had a will set up for the contents of the clan library. If the clan died out, the contents would be given to the village to benefit the non-clan born shinobi. Naruto is going through the section trying to find something that is good but not too hard to learn. After searching, he finds the demonic illusion. Hell viewing technique. The victim would start to see their worst fears or nightmares come to life. Happy with his selection, Naruto darted off to training ground 3.